Chapter 112. Sure enough, Zhuai-Chen was the most active during the second food trip. Every time he ordered at a place, he would check his phone. His teammates teased him that he had found a strategy in advance. He smiled but did not say anything. He silently tasted all the food that Chu Xiong had recommended to him. His expression was extremely satisfied. Chu Xiong took many photos of him. She smiled when she looked at them. These photos could make a series of emoticons for Zhuai-Chen. His expressions were too rich. Some of the photos from the variety show could be posted, but most of them could not as they were afraid of leaking the show's content. This variety show, Winter Vacation Travels, was likely to be the last variety show for the youth group, so the company took it very seriously. From the beginning, fans were not allowed to watch, and the schedule was kept secret. However, they did not stop the fans who were familiar with them. They only asked them not to leak the photos and could only post them after the variety show aired. This was another kind of relationship between the company and the fans. Because there was a certain level of trust, the company would give them some benefits. Sometimes they would even give them internal tickets to the celebrities' activities and reveal some of their itineraries. Sometimes when the company needed them, they would even buy pictures and videos from them. If the fans had any important matters, they could contact the company and pass the news to the celebrities. However, only the fans who were trusted by the company could receive such treatment. Since the second shoot, the fans were only left with 2 fans and Chu Xiong. Zhuai-Chen talked to the staff to keep Chu Xiong. As for Chu Xianglai, she could post photos even if she did not leak the show's content. She knew how to draw. After taking so many good photos of Zhuai-Chen, she was full of inspiration for her comics. She directly used Zhuai-Chen's various emoticons to serialize her comics. Every time she updated her Weibo, she would complete a story in 3 to 5 days. It was short and interesting like a joker. Her comics were very good, and the protagonist's character was very good. After using Zhuai-Chen's face, it was unexpectedly very cute. Once it started serializing, it attracted a lot of attention from Xing Chen, and Chu Xiong's fan count skyrocketed. Since no one had ever done something like this before, and Constellation reposted it in large numbers, this incident instantly became a trending topic. Chu Xiong's manga had highlighted many of Zhuai-Chen's strengths, causing many passers-by's impression of Zhuai-Chen to change from a member of a youth group to a lively and interesting boy. They had developed a favorable impression of him and were willing to take the initiative to get to know this boy. When Chu Xiong bumped into the 4 teenagers on the plane, Geng Xian joked, "It's good to have a big fan. Who would have thought that you would become Yi-Chen's fan just by drawing a few pictures? Sister, when are you going to draw a comic for me?" Zhuai-Chen pushed him aside. "My fans don't have time to care about you, okay? Go play by yourself." Although Chu Xiong and Zhuai-Chen had added each other on WeChat, they did not have much contact. After all, they were fans and idols, so both sides would consciously pay attention to each other. However, because Chu Xiong was following Zhuai-Chen's itinerary, the route was the same as his. They often bumped into each other on planes and high-speed trains, so this was often the time for them to laugh and chat. The staff had warned the 4 teenagers to keep a distance from their fans. However, Chu Xiong would not pry into their private lives, nor would she deliberately follow or harass them. She was a very good and interesting sister. When there were no other fans around, the 4 teenagers would laugh with her, and they were very relaxed and natural. Sometimes they would ask her about her university life, how she felt about studying at the film academy, what classes she had to attend, and whether the professors were strict or not. These were the questions that concerned them the most at their age, and Chu Xiong answered them one by one. When they talked about filming, she would also give them some advice from time to time. Anyway, they always had a lot to talk about, and their relationship had become much closer. This time, there were a total of 12 episodes, and they had to go to 6 places to play and enjoy the winter break. After leaving the first stop, Ice City, they went to 3 places with spring, summer, and autumn characteristics. The South Sea and the North Sea combined the 4 seasons, which fit their group name. The last 2 stops were 2 world-famous overseas scenic spots, and they even had fun with the audience at the Electric Music Festival abroad. The filming crew chose places that the 4 teenagers had never been to before, and the 4 17-year-old boys felt that it was novel and widened their horizons. They solved all the difficulties that they encountered on the trip together, and they were full of jokes and excitement. In short, they had a lot of fun. The variety show was very effective, and they even tasted the local delicacies. After the filming of the variety show, it was time for school to reopen. The 4 of them, including Chu Xiong, were all students, so they all had to report to school. As Zhuai Chen was about to take the college entrance examination, he had to study behind closed doors and did not take on any new jobs. He only had to attend a few advertising events. Chu Xiong also had a lot of time to spend on her studies, and she only took time off to attend his events. Once, Chu Xiong was asked to stay by the professor to attend a seminar, and she could not go to Zhuai Chen's side. She thought about it. Ever since she became a fan of Zhuai Chen, she seemed to be present at every event. Every time Zhuai Chen had a habit of looking for her, and it was better if she did not appear suddenly. Chu Xiong sent a WeChat message to Zhuai Chen and briefly explained the reason. "I'm sorry, Brother Chen. The professor asked me to attend a seminar, and I'm not allowed to take time off. I can't go with you tomorrow. The temperature difference between Sea City and Beijing is very big, so you have to take good care of the temperature. We will mainly eat seafood there, so don't eat too much and feel uncomfortable. I don't have classes for your next event, so I'll go next time. Good luck with your revision." Zhuai Chen was doing some practice questions, and when he saw Chu Xiong's message, he quickly replied, "It's okay, sister. Your studies are more important. You're going to be an excellent editor in the future. You don't have to follow me every time. It's too tiring." He looked at the questions on the paper and sent another message. "I'll definitely study hard. It's just that I've missed some classes, and the questions are very difficult. I just did a set of papers, and there are a few questions that I don't know." Zhuai Chen took 2 photos and sent them to Chu Xiong. Chu Xiong took a few glances and replied, "Is it convenient for you to make a voice call now? I know all these questions, and I'll explain them to you." Zhuai Chen looked at his phone screen, and then at the difficult questions for the 3rd year of high school. He immediately made a voice call. "Sister Chu Xiong, you still remember the questions for the 3rd year of high school? I usually don't forget what I've learned. Let's start now. The second sentence of the 7th question is a trap to confuse the candidates. As long as you remember the key points of this question, you'll be able to avoid the trap." Chu Xiong's powerful divine sense didn't allow her to forget what she had learned. When she first arrived in modern times, she happened to be a college student, and it didn't take long for her to become the first in her major. Then she discovered that there was a lot of knowledge in modern times that she hadn't seen before, such as foreign languages, physics, chemistry, and so on. No one in the cultivation world taught these things. Therefore, when she was a student, she learned all the basic knowledge. She was even better than the provincial top scorer, so teaching Zhuai Chen was absolutely no problem. Her thinking was very flexible, and she could come up with at least 2 or 3 ways to solve a question. Her language skills were also very good, and when she explained the questions, she was clear and easy to understand. Soon Zhuai Chen was enlightened. He couldn't help but praise her. "Sister Chu Xiong, you're so good. You've been a tutor before, right? You're even more clear than my tutor." Chu Xiong smiled and said, "Really? Then it seems that I've found a new part-time job." Zhuai Chen laughed out loud, and his voice was still a little immature. "That won't do. I want to hire you as my personal tutor, and you'll only teach me. When the time comes for the college entrance examination, I'll crush them. Okay, then you'll be in trouble. I'm a devil tutor, and I have high standards. If you fail the college entrance examination after learning from me, then I'll stop being your fan. Don't worry, you won't have the chance to stop being my fan." Zhuai Chen crossed his arms, moved his wrists and stretched. "Come on, next question. I'm the best at facing difficulties head-on, and nothing can stop me." The 2 of them, one teaching and the other learning, were unexpectedly efficient. From then on, Zhuai Chen would send the questions he didn't know to Chu Xiong and ask if she had time. When Chu Xiong didn't have class, she would explain the questions to him. The length of the 2 voice messages added up to an unknown amount of time. After Zhuo Yichen finished all his work assignments, he went into seclusion and did not show his face again. Chu Xiong became the person he contacted the most. Chu Xiong got first place in her major in the college entrance examination, and her excellent performance was appreciated by the professor, who gave her a lot of extra homework. She was also in seclusion, trying her best to overcome the problems in her studies. However, Chu Xiong was more energetic. In addition to being busy with her studies, she was also serializing her manga. Even the manga of Zue Si Xiong was being produced every day. A major role of a sister was to promote her idol and show his charm. She pushed him into the eyes of the public, and at the same time attracted new fans. Now that Zhuo Yichen was in seclusion, his popularity naturally decreased. Chu Xiong's manga with Zhuo Yichen's avatar unexpectedly brought him a lot of popularity. Of course, Chu Xiong continued to draw it. It was easy for her to come up with some cute jokes, and drawing wasn't difficult for her either. It was easy for her to persevere, and it made her a very important sister in the eyes of stars. At the same time, the winter vacation variety show was finally broadcast, and it directly increased Zhuo Yichen's popularity by a lot. The audience of Winter Vacation Travels was very wide. Children looked forward to it when they saw them playing around happily. Teenagers admired them when they saw how they solved all kinds of difficulties on their 17-year-old journey. At the same time, they envied the deep friendship between them. Middle-aged people looked at them as if they were looking at other people's children. They were good at sports, had good grades, were good at foreign languages, and were natural and unrestrained in the face of the unknown. They were full of youthful vitality and joy. Occasionally, the elderly would watch the show and see the handsome guys having fun, and they would also be happy. Sometimes, variety shows weren't about the variety show itself, but the people involved. The Winter Vacation Travels, filmed by S.J. Boy, was unexpectedly to the audience's liking. When it was broadcast, it took the throne of first place in the viewership ratings for the same period and never came down. Their 4 Rao variety shows took the top 4 spots every week, and their popularity increased greatly. This variety show became a large-scale scene for them to attract fans. Even their company was very surprised. When they were planning, they didn't expect it to be so popular. This was very difficult, and it was because the 4 youths were all very outstanding. The audience saw their growth in the show and saw their various strengths. That was why they were able to attract fans and make the show successful. Among them, the one whose popularity increased the most was Zhuo Yichen, who was in seclusion. The company felt that it was very strange. After careful analysis, they found that it was inseparable from Chu Xiong's manga. Chu Xiong's manga stories all highlighted Zhuo Yichen's merits. In 2 months, they received a lot of attention. There were many passers-by who had read the manga but didn't know much about Zhuo Yichen. After watching Winter Vacation Travels, they got his handsome and cute points, and many of them became his fans. Moreover, Zhuo Yichen was the team's leader. He also showed his leadership ability in the show. Many of the things that happened during the trip were the correct decisions he made. His birthday was the most important, but he took care of them carefully like their older brother. He was polite and considerate to many things, and he saved them a lot of trouble. People like him had an invisible charm, and people could see him in a group at a glance. He was very likable. Therefore, even though Zhuo Yichen was in seclusion, his popularity, which had dropped a little before, skyrocketed. This made many celebrities in the same field in the industry feel threatened by an underage boy. He hadn't grown up yet. When he grew up, how bright would he be? When Zhuo Yichen became popular, all sorts of scandals surfaced. While he was gaining fans, all sorts of scandals surfaced. There were rumors about his puppy love, about his past exams, about his smoking and drinking, and about him pretending to be a big shot. Anyway, many people didn't really know him, and they weren't interested in investigating the authenticity of the news. After reading these brainwashing stories, some people really believed and hated him. In any case, in order to destroy his popularity and suppress his rising popularity, waves of inexplicable negative news came one after another. The other 3 teammates also suffered different degrees of attacks, but none of them were as obvious as Zhuo Yichen's. The company's recent negotiations with him were a little affected. After all, a lot of jobs had to consider the artist's recent image. The college entrance examination was approaching, and Zhuo Yichen's biggest concern was whether he could get into university or not. Based on his results in the past 2 years, it should be possible for him to get around 500 marks. However, many people now suspected that he got someone to take the exams for him in the past. They said that his results were fake, and that he got into puppy love and drank too much. Naturally, his college entrance examination results became a hot topic. In Xingchen there were true fans, new fans, and some who weren't loyal fans. Other than the true fans, the other fans were more or less affected by the negative news. Even Zhuo Yichen's super Facebook page had some strange posts, guessing the authenticity of the news. The true fans were very angry, and they were busy controlling the comments. There was a little bit of internal strife, and the overall fighting power of Xingchen decreased. Chu Xiang felt that the person who was scheming against Zhuo Yichen was quite vicious. They chose to do this at this critical juncture. If Zhuo Yichen's mood was affected, it might directly affect his exam results. Zhuo Yichen was only 17 years old, and he had already endured such a storm. When she explained the questions to Zhuo Yichen again, she told him, "Don't care about those things on the internet. You're about to take the college entrance examination. Just focus on preparing for the exam. When the exam results are out, you'll naturally be able to slap them in the face. The company will take care of everything else for you." Wu Yichen smiled. "Don't worry, I won't affect the exam. Great teachers produce great students, and I won't embarrass you. Everything else will take its natural course." Chu Xiang sensitively sensed that the company wasn't very helpful. She asked, "What's wrong with your company? Do you know who's behind this? How do you plan to deal with it?" Wu Yichen sighed. "I think it's a senior whose career path is a little different from mine. I heard that a movie will be filming in the second half of the year, and the director wants to contact me and him. However, he hasn't decided who to act in it yet. Isn't this just a matter of fighting for resources? The company's intention is that they won't be able to catch the other party in a head-on confrontation. Anyway, I'm taking the college entrance examination in 2 weeks, so this matter will be over soon. My travels during winter vacation is still airing. This matter has only spread within the industry and hasn't spread out, so it shouldn't have a big impact." Although Zhuo Yichen's tone was still very relaxed, there was no smile on his face. This matter had a certain impact on him. However, he knew what was more important and knew how to take each step properly. Therefore, he could still revise step by step. As for whether his mood was good or bad, he could only rely on himself to adjust. He had to learn how to reconcile with himself and not go down a dead end. Chu Xiang frowned and asked, "Who's that senior?" Wu Yichen smiled. "Sister, don't worry. I'm fine. Don't worry about this matter. Weren't you recently chosen by the professor to be his assistant? You must be very busy, right? Actually, I'm almost done revising. Sister, you should get back to your work. I've taken up too much of your time." "What's there to take up? I'll allocate my own time." "All right then, don't think about anything else. There are only 2 weeks left, so you'll have to work hard. I've highlighted some important questions for you. I'll send them to you to take a look. Focus on revising. Your fans will take care of everything else. Our constellation will always support you." Chu Xiang saw that he didn't want to ask anymore. After all, she could do the research herself. Zhuo Yichen smiled when he heard this. His mood was inexplicably much better. If Chu Xiang hadn't mentioned it, he would have almost forgotten that his sister was a member of Constellation. Their relationship was no longer just that of a fan and an idol. They were teacher and student, friends, and in the future senior and junior. With Chu Xiang around, it seemed like the rest of the time wouldn't be so difficult. Chu Xiang gave Zhuo Yichen a lot of questions. Zhuai-chen cherished Chu Xiong's kindness very much. He didn't want to waste any of it, so he really immersed himself in it and focused on doing the questions. After Chu Xiong hung up the phone, she pondered for a moment. She really didn't know where to start investigating. She wasn't completely considered a member of the entertainment industry at the moment. She hadn't opened up her network yet. It was impossible for ordinary people to tell her about this kind of thing. She could only look for more channels and hope that it would be useful. When Chu Xiong worked part-time as an editor to earn money, she got to know a lot of people, including many in the entertainment industry. In school, she was familiar with the professors and teachers. Because of some projects, she also worked with some students from the directing and performing majors. She could chat with them. She also had fan groups. Not only Constellation but also other idols' fan groups. She could gather information from them. However, these had to be done in a roundabout way. Because she didn't have the right connections, she couldn't directly investigate. Took some time. Before she found out who the opponent was, Chu Xiong drew 2 more sets of comics. This time, she didn't use Zhuai-chen's face as the main character. Instead, she drew a story about the zoo's tea party. It was obscure, interesting, and understandable to ridicule the scandals. The story was very simple, but every picture and every sentence was just right. It accurately pointed out the core content of the scandals and the fact that the scandals had no concrete evidence. It also pointed out that the scandals were meant to make people who didn't know the truth follow the crowd and let the bad guy behind it gain benefits. The ending was, of course, retribution. The bad guy exploded on the spot. Chu Xiong's Weibo now had more than 3 million fans. It was a very influential website. This was the first time she posted a long Weibo post, and she posted the complete story of a comic in one go. The Constellation fans were stunned after reading it. The story was too clear. It was more useful than a bunch of words they used to control the comments. At first glance, it was obvious that the villain was slandering. In the end, the villain's miserable ending made them feel extremely comfortable. The key was that the whole story was still in the same funny style. Every detail was mocking the haters. It felt like an especially high-level black mockery. Moreover, when they controlled the comments, they explained a lot. Very few people had the patience to read it. Then, keyboard warriors with opposing opinions would come and quarrel with them. There were many girls in Constellation. They were young and impetuous. Sometimes they couldn't help but quarrel with others. However, this was something that ruined the good impression of the passers-by. Constellation was also very helpless. During this period of time, they were impetuous and impatient. However, Chu Xiong's comic was different. At first, people who didn't know about this might think that it was a fun story. After reading it, they would immediately connect it to Zhuai-chen. Even the signature on every page of the comic was a very obvious Zui Xiong. It was easy for people who knew about this to read it. After all, the text was boring and there were many people quarreling. The atmosphere was foul. This comic was so interesting that it was easy to read it and understand it. At this moment, Zhuai-chen's true fans found the best material to fight back. After a few big websites and Chu Xiong got Chu Xiong's permission, they immediately called for Constellation to forward and spread Chu Xiong's Weibo. Constellation was suddenly motivated. They showed the attitude of fighting for Zhuai-chen and sent Chu Xiong to the hot search list in minutes. #Zhuai-chen's sister's strength mockery hashtag climbed to the top of the hot search list step by step. Many passers-by found it interesting. Many people started to discuss whether the rumors were true or not. Many fans started to talk about the truth and recommend Zhuai-chen's various achievements in the entertainment industry. With this kind of popularity, the content that slandered Zhuai-chen and spread rumors were not so obvious. Although it was impossible to wash away the dirty water with just a manga story, Chu Xiong had indeed made a good start. The stars were awesome, twisting into a rope and forcefully turning the situation around. The main point was how to develop next, but at least there was an excellent turning point. It also boosted Constellation's morale. This was the most important thing. The fans' firm support and doubts were two completely different concepts. It gave Lu Rao a very different feeling. Even Zhuo Yichen's company saw this and asked the staff to contact Chu Xiang. They wanted to communicate with her, hoping that she would discuss her next step with the company and not waste such a good situation. The company had its own considerations. Chu Xiang understood that Zhuo Yichen was not the only artist in the company. There were many other factors to consider. However, the company did not step forward to protect Zhuo Yichen. It was also a fact that they did not protect the young man well. Chu Xiang no longer had a good impression of the company. She just brushed them off with a few perfunctory words. When did she need to discuss things with others? She never did things that she was not confident of. However, she found an opportunity and directly asked the company who was behind Zhuo Yichen. The company did not tell her at first. How could the company be on the same side as her, a fan? However, Chu Xiang had never lost a negotiation before. After hinting that she might investigate on her own or guess who was going to retaliate, the company still told her the name of the person in order not to cause more trouble. Chu Xiang's face darkened when she heard this. The person who secretly harmed Zhuo Yichen was actually Childhood. Not only was Childhood problematic when it came to women, but his character was also terrible. Childhood was a popular idol. The original owner of the body had been with Childhood for a long time. There were many memories of Childhood, so Chu Xiang knew Childhood very well. In comparison, Childhood's development path and many resources were indeed clashing with Zhuo Yichen's. It was not so obvious in the past. Now that Zhuo Yichen was about to become an adult and go to university, he was about to break away from the image of a child. The competition between them was huge. The most recent one was Zhuo Yichen's movie. The director had to contact both sides before deciding who to cast. Childhood wanted to snatch the movie and suppress Zhuo Yichen to reduce the threat. It was easy to deal with now that he knew who his opponent was. Wasn't it just Childhood? He did not expose Zhuo Yichen's scandals, but Chu Xiang had solid evidence of his scandals. Prepare, it was time to let him die. Just treat it as a gift for little brother Chen. While Chu Xiang was planning to expose the situation, Childhood's team had already realized that the public opinion had changed. Assistant and Childhood. This fan of Zhuo Yichen is quite impressive. Previously, Zhuo Yichen's popularity rose so quickly. This time, she gathered Zhuo Yichen's fans to fight with her. Her influence is really great. Should we try to poach her? For her more. She can help us a lot. Childhood swiped his phone and looked at Chu Xiang's Weibo. He shook his head. She did her best for Zhuo Yichen. How much time did she spend drawing these things? I suspect that she is not a fan at all. Maybe this account is run by Zhuo Yichen's company. She is just using this identity to promote Zhuo Yichen. You guys work overtime and see if you can come up with something useful. Childhood got up and left impatiently. He asked a beautiful girl out to relax. Who would be willing to waste time on such things when it was not working hours? He had hired these employees from the studio. This should be part of their job scope. His assistant shook his head at his back and told everyone in the studio that if they could not find a good counterattack, they could forget about getting off work. The people in the studio usually paid attention to all aspects of the situation. Some of them liked to read comics. After everyone thought of many ideas, the one who liked to read comics suddenly had a flash of inspiration. I remember that there is a comic artist whose recent stories are very interesting. Zhuo Yichen's fan style is very similar to her. When she said this, the others reacted. Are you going to accuse the fan of plagiarism? Maybe she did plagiarize. Open it and see. They immediately opened the comic serialization website and started to compare the comics on both sides. They had no choice. They had been trying to dig up Zhuo Yichen's dirt for a period of time. They really could not find anything. What could they find now? If they could accuse Zhuo Yichen's fan of plagiarism, they could immediately make this fan quit. It was equivalent to shutting down Zhuo Yichen's fan page. Moreover, this kind of thing would affect Zhuo Yichen's image to a certain extent. They could sow discord and attack Xingchen's momentum. It was killing 3 birds with 1 stone. They compared it seriously and felt that it was not just similar. This was a skinning copy. Some of the details were not changed and directly copied. It was too arrogant. They finally found the plagiarism point and immediately asked Childhood for instructions. Childhood did not have any opinions at all. He even told them not to bother him. They directly bribed a few marketing accounts to leak the news. Chu Xiang was at the top of the trending searches. The exposure of her plagiarism of the artist's comic had been very popular from the beginning. Soon after, it shot up to the top of the trending searches. Xingchen was stunned. They all left private messages to ask Chu Xiang what was going on. Chu Xiang's comic was very similar to the artist's comic. Even the funny style was very similar. Someone was puzzled. Could they be the same person? However, it was quickly refuted. Fan page 1's itinerary to chase after celebrities. Chu Xiang is still retouching pictures and drawing comics. How could she have the time to serialize a long comic story? Chu Xiang was still focused on writing the exposé about her childhood. She did not look at Weibo at all and did not know that she was on the trending searches again. Zhuo Yichen found out first and anxiously called her. "Sister Chu Xiang, are you okay?" Chu Xiang said blankly, "I'm fine. What's wrong with me?" You're on the trending searches, aren't you? Gang Xian just called to tell me. Don't be afraid. At the end of the day, this matter is directed at me. I'll go to the company now to talk to them and suppress this matter. Chu Xiang could hear the anxiety and worry in his voice. She quickly interrupted him. Wait a minute. What are you talking about? Isn't it a good thing that I'm on the trending searches? I didn't do anything. I just drew a comic and said a few words to the haters. It doesn't affect me. No, sister, you're on the trending searches again. Don't you know? Zhuo Yichen hesitated and seemed to be in a difficult position. The trending searches are about your comic being plagiarized from an artist. Chu Xiang opened Weibo and saw a lot of messages in the background. She immediately went offline. She logged in a few more times and then saw the comparison image that she had plagiarized. Sister, are you okay? Zhuo Yichen paced back and forth in the room worriedly. I'm sorry. It's all because of me. You've helped me so much. In the end, I implicated you and caused you to be scolded by the netizens. Sorry. I believe that you didn't plagiarize. There must be something wrong. Don't worry, I'll solve it. Don't go online from now on. It'll be fine. Chu Xiang laughed. It's really fine. The artist is me. Of course, the style of my drawing is the same. Don't worry. You really trust me. You put such an obvious comparison image together, and you still believe that I didn't plagiarize. Zhuo Yichen was stunned. Anyway, he immediately laughed. Sister, you drew it yourself. Of course I believe you. After knowing you for so long, I believe in your character. I believe in what I see with my own eyes. That's great. As long as you clarify, everything will be fine. But if you do that, you'll be exposed. Are you afraid that your fans will know that you're a fan? I'm not afraid. The idol I'm a fan of is so good. I want to promote my idol to the whole world. Zhuo Yichen couldn't help but laugh out loud. Hearing this sentence gave him a greater sense of accomplishment than having a good time on stage. Chu Xiang heard his laughter and the corners of her mouth curled up. She laughed. Okay, you haven't finished the questions I gave you, right? Don't worry about these things anymore. I'm not a pushover. I'm not someone who can be bullied. Don't worry and do the questions. I'll explain the questions to you later. Okay, I won't let anyone bully you. Zhuo Yichen's voice was soft, but there was a trace of firmness in it for no reason. After hanging up the phone, he didn't do the questions. Instead, he put on a mask and went to the company. He didn't expect Chu Xiang to draw a comic and directly attack those haters. Suddenly, the fire of war was directed at her. Although it was a mistake this time, Chu Xiang was the artist and there was no plagiarism problem. However, no one knew what would happen next time. It didn't matter if he tolerated it for a while. He could accept it if he considered the big picture and other factors. After all, there was still a chance to make a comeback later. However, Chu Xiang had done so much for him. He couldn't let Chu Xiong suffer the storm again. He didn't do anything wrong in the first place. Why should he let Chu Xiong and Xingchen endure it with him? Zhuo Yichen's attitude was firm as he negotiated with the company. He had to fight back. Sue the marketing accounts for spreading rumors to express his attitude. Then he would investigate his childhood story and fight back. This was a more substantial battle. The company's attitude was also firm. They even quarreled. Geng Xian and the other two heard the news from the staff. They all expressed their support for Zhuo Yichen. The four of them were considered to have joined forces to oppose the company's decision. It was very unpleasant. However, the company agreed in the end. They first sued the marketing accounts and then bought a wave of ghostwriters to cover up the true and false childhood stories. The lawyer's letter was sent out very quickly. The company's statement immediately attracted the attention of the onlookers. At the cusp of Chu Xiong's plagiarism, everyone discovered that Zhuo Yichen's company had suddenly started to pursue the marketing accounts that had spread rumors about him. They felt that it was very strange. As soon as he appeared, fans and passers-by left comments asking if Chu Xiong's plagiarism was true. They also asked Zhuo Yichen what he thought about the plagiarism of his Zhan Jia. Before the situation could develop further, everyone discovered that Chu Xiong and the cartoonist's Weibo had updated at the same time. Furthermore, the cartoonist's Weibo name had changed. Chu Huang V. Xiang I am. Thank you for liking my comic story. I'm attaching a cute picture of my idol. In the future, I will draw more interesting comics for my idol. Remember to follow me. Picture. V. Chu Huang V. Chu Huang I am. It's such a coincidence that two fields were discovered by everyone. Thank you for your attention. In the future I will release more comics. If you like, you can take a look. As soon as these two Weibo posts were posted, the plagiarism case was exposed. The cartoonist's Weibo had directly posted a cute cartoon picture of Zhuo Yichen. It was super cute and super good looking. On the other hand, Zhan Jie's Weibo was originally Chu Huang. Later it was changed to Zhuai Xixiang. Therefore these two were really the same person. It was really a blunder that made people not know whether to laugh or cry. Soon people noticed the tone of Chu Xiong's two Weibo posts. Remember to follow me, and you can take a look. It was obvious that her comics were not as good as her idol series. This was definitely true love for her idol. Chapter 113. The mishap became a comedy, but it pushed Chu Xiong's popularity up a notch. Both of her Weibo comics received a lot of attention. She was a famous writer in her previous life, and her storytelling skills were definitely top-notch. Her comics were particularly lively, interesting, and attractive. A large part of the traffic brought by this wave of popularity directly converted into her income. Many readers who liked comics or stories subscribed to her comics, and this directly pushed her to the top of the income chart. Her income was no less than 5,000 yuan. Similarly, her recommendation of her idol's Weibo comics and her satirical comics also appeared in the circle. She single-handedly brought Zhuo Yichen to the top of the search list. Netizens were discussing Zhuo Yichen, and it was in a positive direction. Many onlookers laughed in the comment section. This is the first idol in history to be brought to the top of the search list by Sister Zhan. I really want to know how Zhuo Yichen feels right now, haha. If I were Zhuo Yichen, I would definitely feel great. His battle fans are so valiant. One man can hold back 10,000 men. This Sister Zhan must love her idol very much. Look at the pictures she posted. None of them reveal Zhuo Yichen's private status or show content. The pictures are either handsome or cute. Looking at her Weibo, it's super easy to become Zhuo Yichen's fan. My 14-year-old boy who won the national championship has grown up. I'm most afraid of people who are more outstanding and hardworking than you. I'm a fan now. Many people found out the timing of Zhuo Yichen's lawyer's letter and Chu Xiong's Weibo post. One after the other, it was as if they had arranged it beforehand. If this wasn't mutual love, then what was? Both of them were very valiant and responsible. They stood up when they should, And neither of them was a loser. This inexplicably made many people feel that they were lucky. There was also a group of fans who were secretly forming a couple. However, there weren't many of them, and they were very active, so no one noticed them for the time being. Geng Xian, Xia Zhou, and Xiao Ran were all in the company. Together with Zhuo Yichen, they were scrolling through the news on the internet. When they saw the comments on the internet, they all laughed. Yichen, come, let's have an interview. How are you feeling right now? The three of them handed a bottle of mineral water to Zhuo Yichen at the same time. Zhuo Yichen held back his laughter and cleared his throat. What are you feeling? Course, I'm very happy. After all, my fans are as outstanding as me. Geng Xian slumped onto the sofa as if he had been knocked down. That's enough. The three of us were worried about you and came over to accompany you, but you're torturing us like dogs. Zhuo Yichen threw a pillow at him and laughed. What dog abuse, Hu Pao? He looked at his three friends and said seriously, thanks. Xiao Ran leaned on Xia Zhou and said with a smile, there's no need for this between brothers. Why don't we do something more practical? I'll bring you guys gifts every time I go abroad, okay? In the future, the gifts will pile up like a mountain. The smile on Zhuo Yichen's face relaxed a lot. The support of his brothers was very important at this time, and there was indeed no need for thanks between them. He asked his assistant to buy a table full of delicious food, and the four of them ate together in the lounge. Geng Xian looked at the manga that Chu Xiang had drawn for Zhuo Yichen and said sourly, you've really become a cute boy living in a manga. Sister Chu Xiang's manipulation is awesome. Of course. You guys should also take a look at Sister Chu Xiang's manga. It's super well drawn and the story is super funny. Highly recommend it. Zhuo Yichen looked at Chu Xiang's serialized manga as he ate. He couldn't hide the smile on his face, and he was very happy. His three teammates couldn't stand it anymore. You guys are promoting it both ways. No wonder people on the internet are saying that you guys dote on each other. Don't worry if there are any CP fans. Sister Chu Xiang will be scolded to death by your girlfriend fans. How can there be CP fans so easily? Zhuo Yichen muttered, but in his heart, he began to wonder if he and Sister Chu Xiang felt like a couple. Thinking about it, it seemed like there was a lot of CP fans. However, his fans usually called him son or younger brother. He probably didn't have many girlfriend fans, right? Zhuo Yichen and Xia Zhou were both going to take the college entrance examination. Since the matters at the company were settled, they planned to go back after dinner. Zhuo Yichen wanted to give Chu Xiang a call to discuss today's matters. Zhuo Yichen was a common occurrence on the hot search list. He had been living in the eyes of the public for more than 3 years since his debut. He was strict with himself, and there was nothing to dig about. Everyone was just watching for fun. Chu Xiang was different. Her high popularity this time made many people curious about her. Some of the female fans who bumped into her at the airport gossiped about her with their acquaintances. They even took a picture of her side profile and sent it to the group, praising her for her beauty. Chu Xiang, who was good-looking, was the center of attention everywhere. She had been nourishing her body with spiritual energy for a few months, so she was in peak condition in all aspects. She knew how to dress up, and she wore all kinds of beautiful red clothes every time. In fact, she was very eye-catching, so naturally, many people noticed her. Sometimes, when they were close enough to hear Chu Xiang chatting with others, they would roughly know who she was and which Weibo account she was from. At first, when they saw the photo, they didn't think much of it. They just felt that she was quite a Mary Sue. She was so beautiful, so elegant, so good at drawing, and her photo editing skills were top-notch. She even seemed to be protected by her idol. She was a good Mary Sue. Some people even guessed that she was a fair, rich, and beautiful girl, so her words and actions always gave people a feeling that she was full of confidence and was not afraid of anything. When the photo was sent to the group, it was equivalent to spreading. Childhood's fan, who had been chatting with Chu Xiang on WeChat, saw it and confirmed it several times. Then, she immediately sent a message to Childhood's big fan group. This YC Xiang used to be our Nyenyen's fan. She's the one who suddenly stopped being a fan. Ah, is it true? She went to become a fan of Zhua Yichen. Why, isn't Nian Nian much better than that Zhua Yichen? That's impossible, right? She has never drawn comics for Nian Nian before. I feel that she doesn't have such sincere feelings for Nian Nian. It can't be the same person. It's the same person. I've seen her more than 10 times. It's impossible for me to be wrong. Such a gossipy matter spread out very quickly. Childhood's team noticed it immediately and suddenly thought of an idea to let Childhood use this wave of popularity to create hype. Childhood's development path was similar to Zhua Yichen's. Chu Xiang used to be Childhood's fan. This was a link. They could completely treat Zhua Yichen as Childhood's fan. The gap between the senior and the junior could easily make passers-by feel that Childhood was much better than Zhua Yichen. It was the adult version of Zhua Yichen. With Zhua Yichen's recent popularity, Childhood could also directly snatch a wave of fans. The original owner of the body had been following Childhood's itinerary for a long time. Childhood's assistant naturally found her familiar. When he saw the photo, he confirmed that she was really the fan who had stopped being a fan. He didn't know why Chu Xiang stopped being a fan, but he admired Chu Xiang's ability. He tried to send a private message to Chu Xiang and tried to poach her into the studio. Childhood's team didn't think that Chu Xiang, a fan, would know much about the inner workings of the entertainment industry. They also didn't think that Chu Xiang would know that the person targeting Zhua Yichen was Childhood, so they didn't feel any pressure to poach her. Chu Xiang rejected them flatly. Then, she started to contact marketing accounts and prepared to expose Childhood's scandals. Childhood's assistant didn't care that he didn't manage to poach her. Anyway, the main point was to turn Zhua Yichen into Childhood. He reported the matter to Childhood. Childhood was a little angry when he saw Chu Xiang's photo. He remembered this fan. She was beautiful and had a good figure. In fact, he wanted to get closer to her. Who knew that Chu Xiang kept a distance from him? She didn't give him any gifts or take a photo with him. She always stood far away. Now, she was climbing the wall to become a fan and ruining his plans. He immediately agreed to the team's plan. It was very popular now. On the surface, this matter had nothing to do with him. Now that it was exposed that Chu Xiang was once his sister Jean, and he was pulled into the hot search, he could directly reap the benefits. Why not? In this way, he succeeded in stepping on Zhua Yichen. His assistant confirmed with him again and again. He asked if there was any evidence in Chu Xiang's hands. Otherwise, why would Chu Xiang stop being a fan? Childhood firmly denied it. He thought that he was very careful. Otherwise, how could he be popular for so many years without any problems? The team was relieved and started working. Soon they found several photos of Chu Xiang that other people accidentally took. The photos were from a year ago, half a year ago, and more recent. It could be seen that Chu Xiang was taking photos of Childhood before, but recently, she was taking photos of Zhua Yichen. Once these photos were released, the news that Chu Xiang was Childhood's fan immediately spread. When Chu Xiang talked about Childhood's fan, it was also on the hot search list. Although she didn't say anything, the hot search list quickly went down. However, many people who saw it still had some impression of it. The photos were very clear. Zhua Yichen, the famous fan, was indeed Childhood's fan in the past. Childhood's team quickly got the marketing account to start the momentum. They said that Zhua Yichen was similar to Childhood in many ways. No wonder Chu Xiang changed fans and became Zhua Yichen's fan. They praised Childhood's good character and good personality. They even bragged about Childhood's results when he was admitted to university many years ago. The netizens didn't realize the meaning behind it, but there was a follow-up to this gossip. Everyone was very happy to see it. The brainwashing effect was very powerful. It was easy to make people think that Chu Xiang liked this type of idol. Zhua Yichen did seem a little like Childhood's fan. No one noticed the slight change in their subconscious. Only a professional team could analyze the shift and dispersion of attention. Childhood was absorbing Zhua Yichen's popularity with a strong force. The most disgusting thing was that childhood was the one who did this to Zhuai-chen. Unfortunately, Zhuai-chen didn't have any evidence. In a short period of time, they couldn't find any dirt on childhood to effectively fight back. They were vaguely in a state of passivity. Geng Xian and the others were about to leave after eating, but when they saw the latest news, they looked at Zhuai-chen with a little worry. Zhuai-chen's face was expressionless. He looked at the screenshots posted by Childhood's fans on Weibo. They were all comments about Childhood that Chu Xiang had posted in the past. Childhood's fans had inadvertently taken screenshots of other photos, but it was obvious that Chu Xiang liked Childhood very much. Geng Xian asked with concern, "Hey, what are you thinking about? Are you okay?" "I'm fine." Zhuai-chen kept looking at his phone. After a while he asked, "Do I look like Childhood?" Without waiting for their answer, he sneered, "How do you look like Childhood?" No, of course you don't look like Childhood. Look at the chaos on the internet. This is definitely the result of the team. Sister Chu Xiang treats you so well. She's such a sincere fan. We're so envious." He nudged his teammates. "Right." Xia Zhou immediately added, "Yes, it's okay if Sister Chu Xiang used to be a fan of other people. She's no longer a fan now. She obviously hates Childhood, so of course she wouldn't treat you as a substitute. Sister Chu Xiang has sharp eyes. She must be a fan of you because she really likes you." Zhuai-chen took a deep breath and shook his head gently. Of course, he believed that Chu Xiang wouldn't treat him as a substitute. It was normal for Chu Xiang to be a fan of other people in the past. Even if Chu Xiang was a fan of several people at the same time, it was normal for her to have more fans. However, he felt jealous. When he saw Chu Xiang's Weibo posts to Childhood's fans in the past, she actually said things like, "I like older brother very much. Older brother is super handsome." It was completely the attitude of a fangirl. He couldn't help but feel jealous. What was so good about Childhood? How was he handsome? He was obviously more handsome, okay? But Chu Xiang only thought he was cute. Zhuai-chen stood up and walked out after watching for a while. Xiao Ran hurriedly asked, "Where are you going?" Zhuai-chen waved his hand without looking back. "I'm going to the public relations department. Childhood's team is on the scene. Even if I have to fight with him, I can't involve Sister Chu Xiang." Xia Zhou was a little worried. He discussed with his two teammates. "What should we do? If we fight with him, both sides will suffer." Geng Xian shrugged. "What can we do? Sister Chu Xiang is so supportive of Yichen. We can't let Yichen be a coward, right? If we're not careful, Sister Chu Xiang will become cannon fodder. You guys know how vicious the keyboard warriors can be." Xiao Ran frowned. It was rare for him to seriously consider a problem. "We can't fight back without Childhood's material. Yichen couldn't be trying to divert the attention to himself, could he? Only when he and Childhood were at loggerheads would no one pay attention to Sister Chu Xiang. It's easy to ruin his popularity by doing so." Geng Xian threw his phone aside and slumped on the sofa. "Then why don't you persuade him?" The three of them fell silent. No one could persuade Zhuai-chen once he made up his mind. Their manager had said that it was fortunate that Zhuai-chen had always known what he wanted. Every step he took was right. Otherwise, the company would not be able to control him if he were to be so stubborn. Just as Zhuai-chen was negotiating with the company, Chu Xiang was a little confused when she realized that she had fallen into a trap again. She was only a student majoring in editing and wasn't considered a member of the entertainment industry. She had never thought that she would be on the hot search list and had been contacting marketing accounts. In the end, she didn't pay attention to the internet for a while, and Childhood took advantage of her and used her identity to step on Zhuai-chen. How could this be? She hadn't gotten even with Childhood for bullying her younger brother, and now she dared to use her to bully her younger brother again. She wanted to do it. A few marketing accounts were still negotiating with her, but she directly told them that she didn't need to. It was possible to expose anonymously, but didn't Childhood use her identity? She was more explosive than anyone else's. She edited childhood scandals that she had written before and added the reason why she was a fan, as well as some scandals that the original owner had discovered when she was following the original owner's schedule. For example, there was a photo of childhood scolding his assistant. Chu Seong posted a long Weibo post and attached the last photo that the original owner had taken. In the photo, childhood was happily hugging two girls. There was even a date on it. She also took screenshots of childhood's fans who loved him the most. One of the photos was an interview that the original owner had seen before committing suicide. The time of the interview was right after he hugged two girls. She deliberately drew an afterimage of a slapping hand in the screenshot. She was well versed in the art of dialogue. The contents of the exposé written by her were extremely persuasive, making people feel that it was very credible and convinced that she was the person who wrote about childhood. Of course, she didn't wrongly accuse childhood. Everything she wrote was true. When Chu Seong's scandals were exposed, childhood's fans all exploded. They swarmed over to denounce her. "Are you crazy? You're no longer a fan, but you still want to step on her. You even photoshopped photos to accuse childhood. Your heart is black." This person suddenly exposed childhood scandals at this time. It's obvious that she wants to divert the public's attention. She wants childhood to take the knife for Zhuai-chen. Wall-climbing fans actually used their idol to take the knife for them. Shameless. Childhood sat at home and the pot came from above. Who doesn't know that childhood loves fans the most and never gets close to women? If you want to make something up, you should make something more believable. Are you crazy to help Zhuai-chen? Zhuai-chen's scandals, what does it have to do with my family? Netizens, isn't it right that Zhuai-chen looks like Nian? He might be imitating Nian. Zhuai-chen and his fans are disgusting. Hee, isn't she deliberately trying to start a war? Everyone attack her. Let her see our family's fighting power. Childhood's fans crazily insulted Chu Seong. Some of the comments were unsightly. Zhuai-chen even tried to sow discord. Xingchen should also scold Chu Seong. This kind of inexplicable person was the epitome of insidious and cunning. Chu Seong didn't avoid it and posted on Weibo. V. I'm trying to start a war. You know what kind of wicked things your team has done. If you dare to show your claws, you should be prepared to be chopped off. Don't use my childhood as a fan. I was just blind in the past. All the photos are authentic. If you're not convinced, come and fight. Chu Seong stubbornly confronted childhood's fans, causing the matter to reach a climax. Then, many professionals proved that Chu Seong's photos were all authentic, and that there was no trace of editing. Moreover, the timing of all the photos matched childhood's schedule. Chu Seong had a reasonable reason for suddenly leaving childhood's fans. Not only did childhood deceive his fans, but his private life was also very messy. He also acted like a big shot and bullied his assistant. His character was very bad. No matter how much the fans deceived themselves, they couldn't lie through their teeth. These were all real. Childhood's reputation of not being in a relationship and only loving his fans was very stable. He often flirted with his fans, and 80% of his fans were girlfriend fans. His girlfriend fans were the first to go crazy. Some even recorded videos and posted them. In the videos, they cried themselves hoarse and shouted that they were no longer fans. Other fans also couldn't stand childhood's malicious deceit. Not only did he lie, but he also found two women at once. It was too disgusting. Also, Chu Seong's Weibo post. What did it mean that the team had done something wicked? Wasn't the topic of Zhuai-chen and childhood's resemblance to each other just now? This kind of topic of resemblance was common in the entertainment industry. Chu Seong shouldn't have such a big reaction, right? Childhood's team was wicked. Could it be that the previous scandals were also childhood's tricks? Only this reason could explain why Chu Seong suddenly exposed such a big piece of news, tearing apart childhood and childhood studio. This made childhood's fans even more disappointed, and they couldn't help but hate him. Childhood had encountered an unprecedented crisis since his debut. This piece of news directly suppressed all the trending searches and became the hottest topic at the moment. It occupied the center of the vortex, and Chu Xiong and Zhuai Chen were successfully pushed to the edge of the incident. Childhood's team immediately found Childhood and anxiously thought of countermeasures. However, Chu Xiong's video was the truth, and they had no way to clarify it. Previously, they had excitedly wanted to step on Zhuai Chen, but now they were directly overturned. Childhood's team was poured a torrent of abuse, and in the end, they only made a superficial statement that they would reserve the right to pursue the rumor-monger. Even passers-by didn't believe this kind of weak statement. Childhood was completely at the heart of the storm, and it attracted everyone's attention. Geng Xian's account followed Chu Xiong. When he saw the pop-up Weibo, he was shocked. Damn! Sister Chu Xiong tearing apart Childhood. He ran out as he spoke. The most important thing now was to stop Zhuai Chen. If something were to happen on this side, the whole thing would be a mess. Zhuai Chen had just finished talking with the company when he was pulled back to the lounge by Geng Xian. He told him that Chu Xiong had made a big move. Don't cause trouble yet. Look at the news that Sister Chu Xiong exposed. I think it can beat Childhood to death. Look at the photo. Zhuai Chen hurriedly opened Weibo to look. In the photo, Childhood was hugging two women in a car with a lecherous expression. He was so shocked that his eyes widened. Childhood is like this in private. Xiao Ran exclaimed. Sister Chu Xiong is amazing. Look at the long article she wrote. Yes, it's amazing. Is she also a writer? I hate Childhood after reading it. He's not worthy of being a fan at all. Xia Zhou's face was full of admiration. And share Sister Chu Xiong's WeChat with me. I'll definitely ask her to help me write when I'm in danger. Her writing is amazing. Zhuai Chen quickly finished reading Chu Xiong's long Weibo. He had to admit that it was really amazing. Moreover, Chu Xiong's Weibo post was really strong. It was so strong that it exploded. At this moment, he was a little disappointed because Chu Xiong was involved in this whirlpool all because of him. However, he didn't really protect Chu Xiong. Instead, it was Chu Xiong who stood in front of him and helped him solve all the problems. He couldn't even say such strong words because he was an idol, an underage teen idol. His every move would be infinitely magnified. It was impossible for him to stand out and do anything himself. Childhood was doomed this time. The articles that stepped on him were invalidated. Their competitive relationship had completely disappeared. He could imagine that he would have a huge advantage in terms of resources in the future. These benefits were all snatched from Childhood by Chu Xiong. It seemed that ever since he met Chu Xiong had always helped him, but he didn't have anything to repay Chu Xiong. Previously, he was determined to choose Chu Xiong even if it meant losing his popularity. However, at this moment, he clearly realized that he wasn't good enough because he really hadn't grown up. He wasn't strong enough to protect the people he wanted to protect. He was only 17 years old. Even Chu Xiong didn't think of relying on him. She only saw him as a younger brother who needed protection. He didn't know what being an idol meant to Chu Xiongli, but he was sure that he wasn't good enough. He still lacked a lot. Only by standing at a higher position could he prevent this from happening again. Only then could he prevent his fans from standing in front of him when he was in danger. Growth seemed to happen in an instant. Zhuai Chen's entire mentality changed. When the staff came over to ask him what his plans were, he calmly cancelled the public relations plan that he had worked so hard to negotiate. He politely said, "Thank you for your hard work," and asked them to rest. Compared to his previous anxiousness, he had become much calmer. Geng Xian was the first to notice his silence. He asked in confusion, "What are you thinking about? Why don't I feel that you're not excited at all? Your problem has been solved. Sister Xiong is amazing. Shouldn't you show off your big sister fan to us?" Zhuai Chen looked at Chu Xiong's Weibo. His eyes were full of emotions. He unconsciously smiled and said softly, "Yes, I should show off. Previously her idol was so good. She wanted the whole world to know. Since I have such a good big sister fan, I should also let the whole world know. He directly followed Chu Xiong's 2 Weibo accounts on his main account. His finger rubbed on Zesaseng's Weibo for a moment. He asked his assistant for a beautiful card and wrote a to sign. Geng Xian said in shock, "Yichen, are you crazy? Why are you following Sister Xiang? Now, everyone is staring at you." Zhuo Yichen spread his hands and said, "What's wrong? Shouldn't I follow such a sensational Sister Xiang? I'm not a cold-blooded animal." Xia Zhou saw the to sign next to his hand and gave him a thumbs up. "You're brave. The company will talk to you later." Zhuo Yichen said calmly, "I'm not being impulsive. I've thought about it seriously. The timing is just right. It won't bring trouble to Sister Chu Xiang. I can also follow her legitimately and express my support for her. It wouldn't work if it were another time. There would be a lot of trouble. Now is just right. I'll explain it to the company." Geng Xian thought about it carefully and nodded in agreement. "You too. Not bad. You always think so clearly. No wonder you're the captain. Alright, hurry up and share Sister Xiang's WeChat in the group. We all want to add her." He saw Zhuo Yichen squinting his eyes and laughed. "What's with your expression? Why are we going through thick and thin together this time? I already treat Sister Xiang as one of us and I admire her wholeheartedly. Really, she'll be my sister from now on." Geng Xian suddenly slapped his forehead. "That's not right. You're declaring your sovereignty, aren't you? What are you doing secretly? You followed her and wrote it to sign. Are you telling everyone that you're locked in as fans? No matter who she used to be, Sister Xiang will be your fan in the future. Isn't that what you think? You're too domineering." Zhuo Yichen curled his lips and did not answer him. Instead he muttered, "I'll ask Sister Chu Xiang and then consider if I should give you my WeChat." He took a photo of the to sign and sent it to Chu Xiang. Then he sent a voice message. "Sister Chu Xiang, shouldn't we change the cover of the next website?" He took an emoticon from the comic that Chu Xiang drew for him. It was his own face, full of anticipation and super cute. He also sent it to Chu Xiang. Chu Xiang saw it and laughed. "Are you giving me fan benefits? Okay, I'll change it now. Alright, did you follow me just now? Will it be troublesome for you?" "No, I know what I'm doing. Thank you, sister." Zhuo Yichen said the last 4 words in a particularly serious tone. Chu Xiang laughed. "What are you thanking me for? If you encounter something like this in the future, just tell me directly. I've been promoted to become your battle fan leader today. Sister Chu Xiang, you just have to be a happy sister on the website. Also, when school starts, you'll be my happy senior." Zhuo Yichen joked and told her that his teammates wanted to add her on WeChat and asked if she could. Chu Xiang did not have any objections. Soon she added Geng Xian and the other 2 on WeChat. Then she realized that they were much closer to her. Even the way they addressed her changed from Sister Chu Xiang to Sister Xiang. Chu Xiang also asked Zhuo Yichen, "They all call me Sister Xiang. Why are you the only one who calls me Sister Chu Xiang?" Zhuo Yichen replied, "It feels like Sister Xiang is calling a very big sister. You're obviously about the same age as me, so Sister Chu Xiang sounds more intimate." Chu Xiang realized that it was very easy for a boy to be sweet to her. No wonder puppies were starting to become popular. They were too sweet. Zhuo Yichen's following of her and the fact that she had changed the cover to a to sticker were quickly noticed by others. In the past, there had been celebrities who were related to her on the website, but there were very few of them. Basically, there were no idols who were related to her. Furthermore, idols who were related to her could only get a to sticker from a relatively small number of websites, and most of them were obtained when the idols had just debuted. Now that Chu Xiang suddenly had a to sticker, wasn't this Zhuo Yichen's support and protection? The beautiful card read, "Zhuo Xiang, let's walk together in the future. Zhuo Yichen." Previously, when childhood trampled on Zhuo Yichen, A few big fans were a little anxious and discussed calling for Xing Chen to control the comments. However, this kind of bondage was the most disgusting. No matter how hard they tried, they could not tear it off. In their hearts, they knew that it would not have much of an effect, so they were powerless. In the end, Chu Xiang suddenly made a big move and forcibly removed childhood from Zhuo Yichen's body. Now, the internet was full of childhood's deceit, and childhood's fans started to leave on a large scale. Xing Chen's fans were still in a state of disbelief. They had not recovered from the fact that Chu Xiang had single-handedly destroyed childhood. When they saw Zhuo Yichen following Chu Xiang and writing a "to" sticker, none of them felt jealous. They all felt that Chu Xiang was so handsome and cool. She was simply a god of war. Zhuo Yichen also supported his sister on the website and protected her fans. It was really awesome. This time, after such a tumultuous crisis, Xing Chen's family was the final winner. Xing Chen's fans could not wait to celebrate. How could they have the time to be jealous? Zhuo Yichen was right. Now was the best time. Everyone felt that Xing Chen's family was the best. They were too happy. It was originally like this. If one's fans were on the hot search list, they might be turned into cannon fodder by their opponents. Their idol was simply too responsible for standing up for them. For a good sister on the website like Chu Xiang, it would be disappointing if Zhuo Yichen did not make a move. When their idol was in danger, Chu Xiang revealed such a huge piece of news to destroy their opponents. It was too admirable. It was hard for Xing Chen not to like her. This incident could be considered a turn of events. The onlookers could not bear to see it. The matter still needed to ferment before it could be sorted out. For the time being, all the attention was on childhood. Of course, it did not matter if all the negative attention was given to him. Chu Xiang and the rest could rest and sleep. They did not need to participate in anything else. Childhood's incident caused a stir for 2 days. A few websites were closed, and the number of fans dropped significantly. All the statistics were terrible. No one knew what the fans who were willing to stay were thinking. In any case, there was still a portion of them. However, they were all scattered fans. Without the lead of a big fan, they were like a plate of loose sand. Their fighting strength was weak. Almost everyone on the internet was mocking and despising childhood. There were not many who spoke up for him. After this incident ended, everyone thought about the cause and effect. The focus shifted back to Chu Xiang and Zhuo Yichen. Chu Xiang turned the situation around with her own strength. She became famous in one battle. Although this was related to the material she had in her hands, industry insiders who had material in their hands might not be able to play it as well as she did. Outsiders could feel that she was very powerful. Zhuo Yichen's sister on the website became a well-known name. Her fighting strength was off the charts. Her writing skills were off the charts. Her ability to draw comics was off the charts. Moreover, she was clearly calm and rational. She was very good at handling crises. She protected her idol with her own strength. It was hard for people not to remember such an outstanding talent. Zhuo Yichen's 3 actions of sending a lawyer's letter, following her, and signing a contract made people see that he wanted to protect Chu Xiang. It gave people the feeling that he was a fan who could not be bullied. It was a great blessing. Previously, when he was trying to attract fans, childhood was in a terrible state. They did not have the energy to target him anymore. Those inexplicable scandals were all put to rest. The next time he showed himself, he was completely attracting fans. Moreover, Chu Xiang gave up childhood to become his fan. In this incident, he was directly placed on the opposite side of childhood. Back then, Chu Xiang stopped being his fan. Everyone knew that she stopped being his fan without any reluctance. At that time, Chu Xiang had material in her hands that had never been exposed. It was also clear that she was not the kind of person who would step on someone after they stopped being his fan. She was very principled and had a bottom line. Now she was a fan of Zhuo Yichen. She followed Zhuo Yichen's schedule for a few months. She often filmed Zhuo Yichen on the front lines. Not only did she not stop being his fan, but she also produced so many interesting stories to crazily promote Zhuo Yichen's strengths. Wasn't this another way to prove that Zhuo Yichen was the same on the outside and that he was really that good? Usually, fans would only speak one side of the story when they recommended their idols. Everyone else was skeptical and didn't take it seriously. However, Chu Xiang was different this time. With childhood as a comparison, her love for Zhuo Yichen was especially prominent. The beautiful character revealed in those comic stories seemed to be Zhuo Yichen himself. It was an especially great Zhuo Yichen that she saw when she was following his schedule. This kind of invisible trust that the masses had for her was very subtle. It was like a verbal guide that made people subconsciously inclined to believe that she was the Zhuo Yichen that she promoted. Many people would do this. She was so resolute. If Zhuo Yichen was not good, she would have stopped him long ago like she did to childhood. Moreover, if Zhuo Yichen was not that good, she would not have put so much effort into drawing comics. She had never drawn childhood before. Chu Xiang once again brought a wave of huge fans to Zhuo Yichen. It could be said that she was a classic example of attracting fans in the entertainment industry. Before this wave of popularity died down, Zhuo Yichen and Xia Zhou took the college entrance exam together and became the focus of everyone's attention once again. Some people still remembered the rumor that Zhuo Yichen had asked someone to take the exam for him. It was impossible to take the college entrance exam for someone else. Zhuo Yichen's results could be directly verified. Under such circumstances, when the college entrance exam results were released, many people were shocked. Zhuo Yichen actually scored 628 points. More than 600 points. Even the proportion of students who studied in school did not exceed 600 points. Zhuo Yichen, a celebrity who often participated in events, actually scored more than 600 points. He immediately became the focus of the college entrance exam. His 3 teammates were also stunned. Although they were not bad in their studies, they usually scored around 500 points. Xia Zhou, who performed exceptionally this time, only scored 530 points. Zhuo Yichen actually scored 100 points more than him. He grabbed Zhuo Yichen and questioned him. "How did you do it?" Quick. Leniency to those who confess. Severity to those who resist. Zhuo Yichen smiled and pushed him away. "Just study hard. Did you not work hard when you were in seclusion? Didn't I give you a lot of questions? Did you answer them?" Xia Zhou was speechless. "There were so many questions that I couldn't even finish. How could I remember what I did? I must have done more questions from the teacher. What's wrong? Are your questions good?" Zhuo Yichen played with the phone in his hand and smiled slightly proudly. "Of course they're good. My questions were all given to me by Sister Chu Xiang. She bet on a few types of questions. I was completely led by her to King of Kings." Xia Zhou said regretfully, "If I had known, I would have only done the questions you gave me. Why didn't you do it earlier? You did the questions given to you by Sister Chu Xiang." Zhuo Yichen rolled his eyes and adjusted his collar in front of the mirror. "You should be content. 530 points is already very good. We were admitted to the Film Academy. Didn't we get in? It doesn't make much of a difference if we get a high score in the future." Xia Zhou complained. "You're impressive again this time. You got in first place, didn't you? Seems like Sister Xiang has given you other jobs. Did she tutor you on the style of the directing department's major exam?" Geng Xian hurriedly said. "I also have to ask Sister Xiang for help. How much pressure did Xiao Ran and I get from you two this year? If we get more than 400 points next year, won't we be ridiculed to death? We're a team. How can you two just do it like that? Isn't it good for everyone to get 500 points together?" Xia Zhou pointed at Zhuo Yichen. "You're blaming him. He's the only one who did it." Zhuo Yichen smiled and pushed them out of the door. "There's no need to do it. Let's go, it's time for the interview. I'll tutor you next year, okay? No, we have to let Sister Xiang guess the questions. She actually got it right. She's too awesome. Sister Chu Xiang doesn't have time. Don't disturb her." The 4 of them smiled and left the dressing room. The tense college entrance exam was over and they were all relaxed. Everyone had a smile on their faces. During the interview, the three teammates even boasted about their captain's results. After all, it was really rare for a celebrity to get such a score. Their captain was their pride. The host specially asked Zhuai-chen, "I've always heard that your score was around 500 points. How did you manage to increase it by more than 100 points during the college entrance exam? Is it related to the rumors about you taking the exam on behalf of others? Did you want to get good results to show everyone?" Zhuai-chen smiled. "No, I just happened to have a very good and strict private tutor. When I was in seclusion, I kept doing questions like crazy. In the end, I got this score. I was also very surprised." "It's all because of the tutor. Then can you introduce this tutor to everyone? Maybe there will be a lot of students who want to be tutored by him in the future." Zhuai-chen's smile didn't change, but he directly rejected him. The tutor doesn't intend to tutor students anymore. Maybe it's because the process is more tiring. Sorry. The three teammates glanced at him at the same time. Fine, it was different after entering a new stage in life. The domineering in his bones was becoming more and more obvious. What private tutor? Was he a private fan? This guy had always been very possessive. He hid it so secretly but still revealed it. No one knew if he was showing off or expressing gratitude to Chu Xiang. In any case, no one had the chance to know who his private tutor was. Zhuai-chen's high score of 628 completely shattered the rumors of him taking the exam on behalf of others. Once this rumor was destroyed, the series of scandals that were exposed at the same time were all discredited. Compared to his other aspects, his results made it easier for him to gain Lu Rao's favor. No matter what kind of tutor he had, if he wasn't smart enough and worked hard enough, he wouldn't have been able to get such a score. Zhuai-chen once again proved his excellence, making his fans extremely proud. It also made many passers-by start to take this young man seriously. He had grown up and gone to university. He was good at singing, dancing, acting, and studying. This was the child of another family. As long as he maintained this serious attitude, he would definitely become more and more outstanding in the future. He really deserved the title of idol. Chapter 114. Zhuai-chen had been in seclusion for the college entrance exam and had stopped working for a few months. Once the exam was over, there was a lot of work waiting for him. Because he had been very popular recently and had a very good image, the resources he accepted were on a whole new level. Even his teammates benefited from it and became positive teenagers in the eyes of the public. They thought that they had a bright future, so naturally they received better resources. Zhuai-chen had been shooting magazines, commercials, and dramas during the summer break. He was so busy that he almost worked non-stop. Chu Xiang was often asked to stay by the professor as his assistant, so she rarely had the chance to follow his schedule. Although she felt helpless, she was really interested in editing. She could learn a lot from the professor, so she couldn't miss this opportunity. Zhuai-chen hurriedly reminded her when he found out. "Don't let it affect your studies. Anyway, we're going to be fellow students soon. We'll have plenty of opportunities to meet. You can take photos whenever you want. Why do you have to work so hard to follow his schedule?" Chu Xiang smiled and said, "If your other fans knew about this, wouldn't they hate me to death?" Zhuai-chen was speechless. "How is that the same? I treat you as a teacher, a senior, and a friend. How can we get along like we used to? Just like me and my idol. I couldn't even see him in the past. Now that I'm filming a drama with him and we're good friends, do you think his fans will hate me? I'm called a winner in chasing after idols." He even gave me a set of clothes in the same style as his. He smiled. "Sister, you're also a winner in chasing after idols now. Are you happy?" Chu Xiang thought about it and felt that it was true. She laughed. "It seems that I chose the right major. I have the biggest advantage in chasing after idols. But don't you want to see your idol when he participates in an event? I definitely want to go to the front line, not just to take photos. I've been really busy recently. I'll go when I have time." Zhuo Yichen felt a little embarrassed, but his idol was an award-winning actor. He was really excited every time he saw his idol and couldn't wait to follow his schedule. He could understand Chu Xiong's feelings. He cleared his throat and said, "Then Sister Chu Xiong, you should take care of your body. Don't overwork yourself. You too. You're much busier than me." When Chu Xiong was concentrating on her work, she always had no distractions. Thanks to her energy, every time the professor gave her a task, she was able to exceed the quota. She was more and more appreciated by the professor, who wanted to teach her everything he knew. However, when she was free, she would still go to Zhuo Yichen's events. After all, she was a girl who chased after celebrities. How could she stay at home and do nothing? If she had the chance, she would definitely want to meet her idol more often. After the broadcast of Winter Vacation Travels ended, the viewership ratings remained at the top for the same period of time, bringing a lot of popularity to SJ Boy Group. Coupled with the things that had happened during this period of time and their college entrance exam scores, their net worth had skyrocketed. The 4 of them were adults this year. 2 of them had already celebrated their 18th birthday, which meant that they had entered the adult society. It was more suitable for them to fly solo and not disband, each of them developing in their own field of expertise. Therefore, Zhuo Yichen was now mostly doing solo work. His teammates were not around. Sometimes, Chu Xiong would book the same flight as him, and if they bumped into each other in the first-class cabin, she would change seats with his assistant. They would either chat or sleep and rest. It was just like how close friends would interact with each other. However, Zhuo Yichen was now a lot more cautious. If there were other fans present, he would not get close to Chu Xiong. He would also keep a distance from the female employees in the group. He knew that he could easily attract trouble. This kind of trouble did not only come from the outside, but also from his internal teammate, Du Wei, who was watching him and slandering him. He did not want to bring unnecessary trouble to the people around him. He had already realized that he was not strong enough. Therefore, before he became strong enough, he could only use the dumbest way to protect the people around him. When it was necessary to avoid suspicion, he had to avoid suspicion. Zhuo Yichen also did not easily show his true emotions in public. He did a good job of managing his expression. Just like the company had instructed him, he did not accept gifts and did not speak easily. He did not want to give the haters a chance to slander him. For things like fans picking him up at the airport and sending him off, he would only sincerely express his gratitude to them at the end. Like other very mature idols, he put away the innocence that belonged to a teenager. He finally understood why Chu Xiong was so soft-hearted and naive when they first met on the plane. She was easily deceived and asked him to protect himself. It turned out that sometimes it was just a matter of making more mistakes and making fewer mistakes. His appreciation for his fans could be reflected in every fan welfare, interview and gift-giving event. He could no longer smile and chat with his fans at the airport like when he first debuted and accept their gifts. Growing up would inevitably bring many restrictions. When his every move would be magnified and interpreted, he could no longer laugh and joke like a child. But in fact, this was also a good thing. He worked hard to improve his professional skills and bring more and better works to his fans. That was the best way to repay his fans. He wanted all his fans to know that they were not fans of the wrong person. Chu Xiong had been an idol for a lifetime, so she understood the knack of this. She was really surprised to see the changes in Zhuo Yichen. She had only known Zhuo Yichen for a few months, but Zhuo Yichen had grown so much. He had lost his childishness and became mature. It was really difficult. This proved that she had not misjudged him back then. Zhuo Yichen's progress was very steady. He always knew what he was doing. His growth rate was the fastest among the 4 youths. He was indeed her idol. Chu Xiong also gave up wearing red to avoid trouble. She did not want to be surrounded by fans and take photos of her. Every time she followed Zhuo Yichen, she wore a mask. Anyway, there were other sisters who wore masks, so it was not strange. This way, no one would know that she was Xixiong. Zhuo Yichen was acting as the second male lead in a TV series during the summer break. The TV series was an excellent production project. The lead actor was Zhuo Yichen's idol, the movie king Xiao Qian. This was the only TV series that Xiao Qian had filmed in 10 years. The rest of the time he had filmed movies. Zhuo Yichen was very excited to work with his idol. He put in 120% of his effort during the filming. His acting had always been good. This time, he had studied hard and received guidance from Xiao Qian and the director. His acting skills had improved by a lot. Although the busy work was very tiring, he was able to work with his idol and gain a lot. This was the best and most meaningful summer break. During the interview, Zhuo Yichen was asked if he regretted not being able to travel after graduation. He laughed. Not at all. Traveling can be done at any time. The opportunity to work with my idol is too rare. I feel that filming this TV series during the summer break is the best gift for me. The host laughed. Even if you want to travel, you won't be able to go whenever you want. You are so busy that you don't have time. However, this shows that Xiao Qian is much more important to you than traveling. Now, many people on the internet are saying that you are a winner. What do you think? Zhuo Yichen tried to control himself not to laugh too happily. However, the corners of his mouth were still raised. He happily said, I think so too. Then, do you have any advice for your fans? Do you want to impart some of your experience to them? I don't think I have any experience. After all, I never thought that I would be able to work with Brother Qian. This was a completely unexpected surprise. However, I feel that the most important thing is to work hard and be yourself. That is, study hard and improve well. Then, you may have the opportunity to meet your idol and become a winner like me. Zhuo Yichen laughed out loud and joked with everyone. The interview ended happily. His words also made #StarChasingWinner trending. Everyone was discussing the topic of the star chasing winner. If you want to be a winner, you have to mention the wife of Adonis. She listened and became a fan of Adonis. She would go to every event. In the end, she successfully attracted the attention of Adonis and married him. I don't know if this inside story is true. If it is, it seems very encouraging. After all, she was very outstanding to be noticed by her idol. There is also an actress. She filmed with her idol and then married him. Now the two of them are very sweet. Do you know who she is? Should I enter the entertainment industry? Then you have to do well. After all, there are so many people in the entertainment industry. In the end, your idol will only marry one person. Now that I think about it, I'm suddenly glad that Xiao Qian and Zhuo Yichen are both men. Otherwise, a fan and an idol might become a couple when filming together. Aren't there many people who fall in love because of filming? Why are you all not getting married? There are also a lot of winners in the same gender. Didn't that girl become best friends with her idol? There is also Xiao Ran. He went to his idol's concert as a guest. They even ate and played football together. I think only his idol can cure his laziness. There were a lot of famous winners in the entertainment industry. Some of them didn't deliberately get close to their idols to do anything. They just wanted to become more outstanding. If their work or life overlapped with their idols, then they would naturally connect. After connecting more and more, if their personalities were similar, then they could become friends or even husband and wife. After all, celebrities were also people. They were people with feelings. This was a normal relationship between people. After this discussion about winners in the entertainment industry, the topic finally fell on hard work and hard work. It was proven that if fans only wanted to be lazy, then they would never become winners in the entertainment industry. Because this topic was first started by Zhuo Yichen, stars left messages for him, saying that they should work hard. Even if they couldn't become winners in the entertainment industry, they shouldn't embarrass their idols. Many fans also showed off the exercise books they had bought, saying that they should learn from their idols as role models. It was very inspirational. Zhuai Chen officially entered university and became a freshman in the Film Academy's directing department. Xie Zhou was studying acting. The two of them hadn't been filming recently. During military training, they had shaved their hair and were tanned. Someone took a picture of their new look and nicknamed them the Charcoal Twins. Of course, this was just a joke. Although they didn't look as handsome as before, their good looks supported the buzz cut. Their skin was also a little darker. Inexplicably, they looked a little tough. People sighed that the young man had really grown up. There were also directors and investors who noticed their new look. The two of them received a new type of script, which was a fight scene or an anti-war military film. It could be said that they had opened up a new path for acting. The director of the movie that he had wanted to steal during his childhood finally contacted Zhuai Chen. Back then, the incident had caused such a huge commotion that Zhuai Chen had fallen from being an A-lister to being a nobody. Naturally, the director no longer considered him. However, he still planned to observe Zhuai Chen. Now that he saw that Zhuai Chen had steadily improved in all aspects and that there were no problems with his image and acting skills, he called him over for the audition. Zhuai Chen's dream was to be a director. However, he had just started learning about directing. In the future, if he wanted to be an independent director, it wouldn't be easy. Before that, he still had to act well and accumulate experience from the crew. Naturally, he couldn't ask for more if he could act in a movie by a famous director. He prepared for the audition very seriously. He read the original version of the movie carefully and wrote the character biography carefully. After that, he still felt a little uncertain and called Chu Xiang. Sister Chu Xiang, your mentor, Professor Lin, seems to have a good relationship with Director Chen. Have you heard of Director Chen's preferences when choosing people? I'm going to the audition tomorrow, so I'm a little nervous. Chu Xiang was stunned. Director Chen. You're going to audition for Director Chen's Fleeting Years. That's right. Sister, you have a part to play in this. Previously, you wanted to fight with me for the male lead role in Fleeting Years. Zhuai Chen closed his book and lay on the sofa with his phone. He said with a smile, "Thank you for helping me get such a good resource, sister. I can't let you down. I have to get this role." Chu Xiang was stunned by his voice and asked, "Did your voice change? Why does it feel different from when I first met you? Is it, maybe? It should have become thicker in the past 2 years," he joked. "It must sound better than before, right?" Chu Xiang smiled. "You're too narcissistic to praise yourself. However, it does sound good. I'll definitely go to your concert at the end of the year. It'll definitely be a hit." Zhuai Chen laughed out loud and teased, "Sister Chu Xiang, do you know that you have a nickname now?" "What nickname?" "Zhangjiang's #1 star boaster. The comics you've drawn recently have been praising me. No fan can compare to you. They've given you the #1 spot." "Haha, I'm very honored. Can't help it. My idol is outstanding, so it's only right for me to be praised." Chu Xiang thought of the serious matter and laughed. "What are we talking about? Director Chen doesn't look at anything else when choosing people. He only looks at acting skills and character compatibility. Your image suits the character very well. Do you know what your biggest advantage is? It's a photo of you during military training a while ago. The script of Fleeting Years has been changed. There's a plot where the male lead is in dire straits. Director Chen definitely thinks you're suitable for it. You just have to act well during the audition." Zhuai Chen looked confused. Sister Chu Xiang, how do you know so much about it?" Chu Xiang smiled. "Me. Coincidentally, my mentor, Professor Lin, is the chief editor of Fleeting Years. She promoted me to be her assistant and brought me into the crew. So I've already read the script." Zhuai Chen was stunned. Gao Xian said, "Then we can work together when the time comes? You're in front of the stage and I'm behind the scenes. We might not have many opportunities to meet. When the time comes, I'll visit you on set and bring you delicious food." Zhuai Chen thought about it for a moment. His mood fell, but he maintained his smile. "Forget it. There are too many people and I don't want to trouble you. When Chu Xiong was an idol, she didn't care about any rumors or scandals. As long as she was happy, she would not be restrained by anything, because she felt that fans who would leave her sooner or later. Those who would truly be her fans in the end would definitely like her character and her works. It was impossible for them to leave her fans because of inexplicable matters. She cherished her fans. Of course, they were all fans who loved her. However, she wasn't afraid because she had the confidence of several lifetimes. There were many other paths she could take. She didn't treat the entertainment industry as her own dream. Therefore, she wasn't afraid of being dragged along. Zhuo Yichen liked to sing and dance on stage. His dream was to be a director. He had never thought of taking another path. Therefore, before he became strong, he had to be careful with his words and actions. He didn't want to give anti-fans and opponents a chance to show off and hurt the people around him. Chu Xiong felt a little sorry for him. She said softly, "You're already doing very well. You don't have to take care of everything." Zhuo Yichen smiled helplessly. "No, I don't even have my own freedom. I can't even make decisions when I'm in danger. If I want to relax, I have to at least wait until I'm independent." "How many years do you have left on your contract?" 2 years. "It won't be long." Zhuo Yichen smiled. "Okay, Sister Chu Xiong, don't worry about me. I'm fine. If you want to gain something, you have to lose something. It's fair. I just don't want to implicate the people around me. Anyway, I'll know who I'm close to. I don't need the public to judge me. It'll only add to the trouble." Chu Xiong sighed. "You're like an old man. Alright, it's good that you know what you're doing." "Okay, I know what I'm doing." After Zhuo Yichen hung up, he lay on the sofa and thought about a lot of things. After a long time, he picked up the character biography again. He found out about Director Chen's focus from Chu Xiong, so he was much more confident. He acted as the main character in front of the mirror and practiced until late at night. In the end, his acting skills stunned Director Chen during the interview. Director Chen asked him to change his clothes and act in a down-and-out scene. Zhuo Yichen was put on a very miserable appearance by the makeup artist. He acted in ragged clothes and didn't look out of character at all. He cried and laughed when he should, which made Director Chen very satisfied. Director Chen asked, "You acted well. As you can see, the script has an additional plot. In this movie, you don't just have to act ugly. You have to completely abandon your image to perform well. Think about it carefully. Can you abandon your image?" Idols usually played handsome characters. No matter what the theme was, their image was always very good. After all, many people were fans of their idols' looks. Some fans only liked the handsome aura of their idols. When they saw such a sloppy appearance that subverted their image, some of them would definitely not be fans. The number of fans who left varied from person to person. One had to consider the impact on oneself when filming such an image. Zhuo Yichen replied firmly, "A good actor doesn't care about his image in order to film a good movie. Don't worry, Director Chen. I'll put my heart and soul into the role. There won't be a problem." Director Chen nodded. "Okay, then this role is yours. Go back and prepare. Wait for the notice to enter the set on time." Zhuo Yichen bowed politely. "Thank you, Director Chen." He immediately told Chu Xiong and the 3 brothers the good news. "I passed the audition. Geng Xian. Captain, you're awesome. Treat us to a meal. Make an appointment with the schedule. Hurry up. Xiao Ran. Thumbs. JPG. Congratulations. JPG. Zhezhou, you're amazing. This is the rhythm of the movie. You have to treat us. See you in the cafeteria in the afternoon." Zhuo Yichen laughed and shook his head. "Treat us to a meal. Just make an appointment with the schedule." It was extremely difficult for the 4 of them to get together now. How could it be so easy to treat them to a meal? Chu Xiong was the last to reply. After congratulating him, she sent him a detailed analysis of the character, and which details of the performance would be most likely to be highlighted in the editing. Sometimes the director's ideas might not always be correct. This was because the editing after the editing might not be as good as the director had imagined. At this time, the editor could give his own ideas and suggestions to the director. In the end, the director would choose a better version of the editing. Therefore, all the information that Chu Xiong sent to Zhuai Chen was solid, which benefited him a lot. From another perspective, he understood how actors should express themselves. This kind of kindness without asking for anything in return unexpectedly warmed Zhuai Chen's heart. He saved the document on his phone, created a new folder, and even encrypted it. He thought about it. Ever since he met Chu Xiong, it seemed that Chu Xiong had accompanied him at every important moment. When he was in seclusion, Chu Xiong helped to create popularity for him. When he was criticized, Chu Xiong helped to tear down the haters. When he was in the college entrance examination, Chu Xiong tutored him. When he was filming, Chu Xiong analyzed the details for him. It seemed that many of the things that he had to carry alone were carried by Chu Xiong. Although Chu Xiong might not have thought of it this way, the truest feeling in his heart was that there was someone accompanying him. He was not lonely on this road at all. It was just like the fluffy earmuffs and heating pads that winter, which filled him with warmth. Zhuai Chen changed the name of the folder to A Company. He did not know how long Chu Xiong would be his fan and how long she would accompany him, but he really hoped that she could accompany him forever. She was his most special fan. Zhuai Chen reduced his schedule again. After studying hard in school for a period of time, he took a leave of absence to join the crew. This movie was a big investment, a big production, and a big director, so it had to be polished carefully. Not only did the director value it, but Professor Lin also valued it. She often brought Chu Xiong to the crew. The editor did not always edit the film in the room after receiving it. Sometimes they also needed to watch the footage on the set and communicate with the director to create the best presentation. Therefore, Chu Xiong was able to sit behind the director and watch Zhuai Chen film. Zhuai Chen was surprised to see Chu Xiong. He did not expect Professor Lin to come personally and even bring Chu Xiong along. Chu Xiong secretly cheered him on. The corners of his mouth curled up slightly, but he quickly returned to normal and immersed himself in his role. This was Chu Xiong's first time seeing Zhuai Chen film. However, she had seen Zhuai Chen's idol drama last year. In just a year, Zhuai Chen's acting skills had improved by leaps and bounds. It was no wonder that every time his three teammates talked about him, they were convinced. He would work hard to improve what he wanted, and he was not afraid of hard work. He would always improve greatly, making them respect him as their captain from the bottom of their hearts. It was already a little cold in November. When Zhuai Chen was about to go to bed, Chu Xiong ran to buy 2 boxes of hot drinks. When she returned, everyone was resting, so she distributed the hot drinks to everyone in the crew. When Director Chan saw this, he smiled at Professor Lin and said, "Your new disciple is very interesting." Professor Lin glanced at Chu Xiong and shook his head with a smile. She is a fan of the male lead. She is the girl who became famous overnight on the internet. Didn't she use the excuse of delivering hot drinks to chat with her idol? Young people have this kind of passion. Director Chan looked up and saw that Chu Xiong had indeed delivered the hot drinks to Zhuai Chen. He chuckled and joked, "Then we can't let her interfere with the editing of this film. Why don't you edit it into an idol drama?" When Zhuai Chen took the hot drinks, Chu Xiong said, "You acted really well. Good luck." Zhuai Chen smiled faintly and nodded. He looked at her and said, "Let's do our best together." To outsiders, these 2 short sentences were probably just a thank you. There was nothing special about it. Chu Xiong quickly returned to Professor Lin's side and watched the finished film with him. Professor Lin finished watching in silence. He picked up the hot drinks and asked, "Which version of the film is better?" Chu Xiong quickly went through the images in her mind. She already had a good idea of the effect after editing. She said seriously, "Teacher, I actually think the NG version is better." At that time, The NG was because the letter in the protagonist's hand was blown away by the wind. However, at that moment, the protagonist was shocked by the contents of the letter. He was emotionally unstable and couldn't accept the truth. This scene can better reflect the impact on the protagonist's heart. As a result, his fingers unconsciously relaxed and he couldn't hold the letter. This is a side view. This detail can directly reflect the protagonist's inner feelings. Professor Lin nodded and found 3 more scenes for her to shoot. Chu Xiong thought for a moment and said, "The first version is the best." Here, a leaf fell on the male protagonist's face and blocked him for a few seconds before falling. The leaf was still a worm-eaten leaf, which ruined the overall good fortune. However, it's because of this that it echoes the male protagonist's downfall. I think there's no need to highlight the male protagonist's beauty here. It's better to show it with a sense of destruction. Professor Lin smiled in satisfaction and looked at Director Chen. "How is it? Can I edit it into an idol drama for you?" Director Chen pointed at her with his finger and said with a smile, "You're so protective of your child. Isn't it just a joke?" However, he was indeed surprised by Chu Xiong's sharpness in editing. He nodded and praised, "Not bad. You have the demeanor of your teacher back then. You can graduate." Chu Xiong smiled and said, "Thank you for your praise, Director Chen. It's all because my teacher taught me well. I still have a lot to learn." Okay. Just now we'll edit these 2 scenes according to Chu Xiong's suggestion. Let's film 1 scene first. Director Chen liked Chu Xiong's suggestion very much, but the final decision still depended on the results. Professor Lin drank a few mouthfuls of hot drink and said to Chu Xiong, "Go and cut it. Practice." Director Chen didn't know whether to laugh or cry when Professor Lin gave his own film to his disciple to practice. However, this also showed how much Professor Lin trusted Chu Xiong's ability. It seemed that this girl was very likely to inherit Professor Lin's mantle in the future. Young people often had more novel ideas and bolder experiments. He was also looking forward to what new elements Chu Xiong would bring to their film. Zhuo Yichen was filming in front, while Chu Xiong sat behind the director to edit the film. Although they didn't communicate much, they would occasionally look up and see each other. Chu Xiong often bought afternoon tea and hot drinks for everyone, so she quickly became familiar with the entire crew. In fact, she only found out that her brother was cold or that he didn't eat much. Once, Zhuo Yichen was filming for half an hour in ragged clothes. After filming, he sneezed a few times. Chu Xiong bought tea to prevent colds and distributed it to everyone. Everyone praised her for being so considerate. Although Zhuo Yichen didn't say much to Chu Xiong, he could feel Chu Xiong's concern all the time. Just as he had thought, Chu Xiong had accompanied him all the way to this film that was so important to him. This wonderful connection on the same set put him in a good mood. He was full of energy every time, and he was always able to perform better than usual when filming. Occasionally, when he was close to Chu Xiong and heard Chu Xiong secretly praise him, the corners of his mouth couldn't help but curl up slightly. Every time Chu Xiong saw his slightly arrogant expression, she wanted to laugh. Indeed, he still liked to act cool as usual. Even if he restrained himself to the point that it was hard for others to notice, he was still showing his best side all the time, especially in front of a fan like her. Little brother Chen was really showing off in all sorts of ways. The filming wasn't very heavy. After all, it had to be done meticulously, not quickly. However, Zhuo Yichen was especially busy. This year, the 4 brothers had all turned 18 years old. The company asked them to hold a coming-of-age ceremony concert for each of the 4 seasons. This was also their first solo concert. Now that the other 3 brothers had finished their concerts, his concert was set to be in mid-December. Therefore, every time he finished filming, he had to spend a lot of time practicing his dance and singing. He also had to discuss with the staff about various details that needed to be adjusted. In fact, he was very tired every time. However, because these 2 things were what he liked and he wanted to do, he didn't feel tired no matter how tired he was. At times like this, Chu Xiang's hot drinks were like a kind of comfort and encouragement. He didn't feel tired and empty as he always remembered that he wanted to become better and stronger. Of course, he had to work harder. He wouldn't let his fans down. Chapter 115. Zhuo Yichen's concert finally arrived under the anticipation of thousands of fans. This year, he first went into seclusion to prepare for his exams for 3 months. Then, he participated in some activities during the summer break and often filmed TV dramas with the crew. After that, he underwent military training, went to school, joined the crew to film a movie, and went into seclusion again. The fans felt like they hadn't seen him for half a year, so the concert tickets were sold out instantly. Zhuo Yichen's concert had 30,000 audience members. He reserved the first-row tickets for his family and Chu Xiang in advance. The 3 brothers didn't come because every time Du Wei saw them together, it would trigger a large-scale scolding war. They would expose all kinds of fake news about each other and create a foul atmosphere. This had a bad impact on society and ruined their image and popularity. They simply didn't attend each other's concerts and only called to wish Zhuo Yichen a success. Chu Xiang sat in the center of the first row. A camera had already been set up, and she was even holding a Canon with a long lens in her hand. She was adjusting the focus of the camera on the stage. The couple next to her glanced at her and whispered to each other. Then the middle-aged woman next to her whispered to her, "Hello, are you Zhuo Xiang?" Chu Xiang wore a mask and a fisherman's hat. Her hair hung down and fell over her shoulders, only revealing a little of her face. She thought no one would notice her, but she didn't expect the people next to her to recognize her. She smiled at the woman who was also wearing a mask. "I am. Don't let others know. Keep a low profile." She realized that the woman didn't seem to have any support items in her hand, so she quickly took out a light stick from her bag and gave it to her. "This is for you. Chandidi is amazing. We fans have to let him see a sea of light." The woman took the light stick and smiled at her. "I'm Chandidi's mother. He often talks to me about you. I finally get to meet you today. Thank you. You've helped him a lot." Chu Xiang widened her eyes in surprise. "Really? You look so young. I thought you were a big sister fan like me." Mrs. Zhuo smiled happily. "You really know how to talk. I'm already 45 years old. The one beside me is Chen Chen's younger brother, Yi Yang. The one over there is Chen Chen's father. Don't let anyone know. We'll keep a low profile." Chu Xiang nodded and greeted her brother Zhuoyang and father Zhuo. She then gave them 2 light sticks. These were all gifts from the other stations outside. She still had some left in her bag. They probably didn't take them because they had entered a long time ago. Mother Zhuo asked her, "How's Chen Chen eating on set?" "Every time I ask him, he's fine. He only tells me the good news and not the bad news. He seems to have lost weight." Chu Xiang smiled. "He did lose weight. The director requested it. He needs to look more miserable in the recent scenes. Don't worry, Auntie. He'll be fine after this shoot. I've been watching him eat nutritious meals every day. He's so young, so his body will be fine." "Thank you so much." Mrs. Zhuo affectionately held Chu Xiang's hand. "Thank you so much for taking care of Chen Chen. He's under a lot of pressure shooting this movie with me. He's especially happy to have you on set. He feels at ease when he sees you. Everything is interesting. It's the first time I've seen him rely on someone so much. 8 out of 10 calls, he'll mention you. Although you don't know me, I've known you for a long time." Chu Xiang was a little surprised. "He'll mention me. Actually, I didn't do much. He's so nice that people just want to treat him better. You've already done a lot. I want to help him, but I can't. I can't do anything about his anti-fans, so I'm especially grateful to you." "All right. Our whole family has seen the comics you drew for Chen Chen. It's great that you drew such a lively Chen Chen. Now he's starting to mature. I haven't seen him so lively in a few years. I feel that your comics have helped me preserve his youth and liveliness." It's far from what photos and videos can compare to. I've saved all your comics and printed them into booklets. Thank you so much. Also, we've read your serialized comics. They're so funny, even better than the comedies on TV. I heard that you're only 3 years older than Chen. You're amazing. Chu Xiang didn't expect Zhuo Yichen's family to be so warm and close to her. It seemed that Zhuo Yichen often mentioned her to his family. Now that she had received the approval of her idol, she was really a winner in chasing after her idol. Chu Xiang had always been good at socializing. She exchanged a few words with Mrs. Zhua, which made Mrs. Zhua happy. If the concert hadn't started, they would have continued chatting. The drums sounded and Zhuo Yichen jumped out from the stage. Below the stage, there was a sharp sound of swords, followed by intense music and Zhuo Yichen's super passionate dance. Chu Xiang immediately picked up her cannon and slapped Zhuo Yichen fiercely. Mrs. Zhua smiled when she saw this. She waved the light stick in her hand and looked proudly and gratifyingly at her son, who was shining brightly on the stage. This child had been sensible since he was young and didn't need his parents to worry about anything. She gave birth to him when Zhuo Yichen was 3 years old. When she was busy, she often neglected Zhuo Yichen. However, Zhuo Yichen had grown up especially well, which made her proud from the bottom of her heart. The only thing she was worried about was that her child was too strong. He was the oldest, but he was the most mature captain. Although he had a good relationship with his teammates, he had to take care of them and couldn't rely on them. He refused to admit defeat no matter what he did. He was too strong and easily broke. This kind of personality might not necessarily lead to happiness. Moreover, the high-pressure work and the negative voices of the outside world would easily tire him out and make him unhappy. The future was still long. How could he continue like this? However, with the sudden appearance of Chu Xiang, she could clearly feel that her son had become much happier in the past 6 months. She didn't quite understand it at first, but after seeing Chu Xiang's comics, she realized that Chu Xiang really understood her son. She vividly displayed Zhuo Yichen's best points in the comics. The popularity brought by those comics wasn't fake. Chu Xiang also eliminated Zhuo Yichen's competition for him. Not to mention, Chu Xiang also tutored Zhuo Yichen and gave Zhuo Yichen pointers on his acting skills. She also cared about him on set and watched him eat and drink. With such a reliable guardian by his side, Mrs. Zhua felt that if she were in his shoes, she would also feel at ease. Just like how she had slowly learned about Chu Xiang from her son in the past few months. Now that she saw Chu Xiang again, she inexplicably felt more at ease about her son's life on set. She saw the light in Chu Xiang's eyes and saw that Chu Xiang was focused on Zhuo Yichen on stage. She really felt at ease. With Chu Xiang on set, her son would definitely be fine. Chu Xiang sent a message to the WeChat group while changing clothes during Zhuo Yichen's performance. There were 5 other people in the WeChat group other than her. They were all professional photographers that she had hired. She bought 6 professional cameras. She had one in front of her, and the other 5 cameras were held by them to film Zhuo Yichen's concert from different angles. She had exchanged the positions with other fans after much difficulty. Previously, when Geng Xian held a concert, she had watched the live broadcast. The effect was very bad. The camera was always panoramic, and there were very few close-up shots of the celebrities on stage. Moreover, the live broadcast was clearly in Blu-ray HD, but the image quality was very ordinary. The switching between the camera angles was also bad. The viewing experience could only be described as terrible. This might be because their company did not invest enough, or the team they found was not professional enough. In any case, this was Zhuo Yichen's first solo concert, so Chu Xiang decided to film it herself. She arranged for 6 cameras. After the event, she would personally edit and record this extraordinary concert. Zhuo Yichen sang a total of 30 songs in this concert. His voice had indeed changed. It was so sweet that it could make one's ears pregnant. His ability to empathize with others' emotions was also very strong. It was easy for him to bring people into his voice and feel joy or sadness with him. Compared to the first time Chu Xiong heard his voice at the Spring Festival Gala, his singing skills were much better. That time he still made mistakes. Now, not only did he not make any mistakes, but his stage presence was also more stable. He was at ease throughout the stage, and every movement of his fully displayed his charm. He danced 2 explosive dances. His dance moves were on point and precise. His cool expression set the entire stadium on fire. The fans screamed and shouted his name all over the stadium. He played the piano, sang love songs, played the guitar, and even performed a drum set. He was like a gentle piano prince at times, a hot-blooded rock singer at times, and a cool drummer at times. He was really charming on stage. This was the result of his hard work during this period of time, and he gave the fans a huge surprise. That night, everyone present and Xingchen, who was watching the live broadcast, realized that their idol, who they had not seen in a long time, had become even more outstanding. It turned out that he was really working hard during his seclusion. Moreover, he was working very hard. How could they not be satisfied with such a result? Zhuo Yichen's concert was very exciting. His performance was very high standards. Before the concert ended, he was already on the hot search list. When the fans left, he was already at the top of the hot search list. When Mother Zhuo wanted to go backstage, she dragged Chu Xiong along. She wanted to exchange WeChat numbers with Chu Xiong and asked Chu Xiong to send her the photos she had just taken. She knew that Chu Xiong had many photos of her son looking at the camera that she had not sent out yet. She also wanted to see them. Chu Xiong carried her video camera and followed the family over. She saw Zhuo Yichen leaning on a chair with his eyes closed. When the staff saw Zhuo Yichen's family coming over, they consciously dispersed and went about their work. Mother Zhuo went up to him and asked, "What's wrong, Chen?" Zhuo Yichen opened his eyes. His eyes were red and moist. He smiled and said, "Oh, I'm fine." Chu Xiong took a few photos before saying, "Are you very touched? Don't feel bad. In the future you can hold 1, 2, or even 3 concerts every year. The Xingchen who likes you will always be with you. She will always be with you and give you a beautiful sea of stars at every concert." Sister Chu Xiong. Zhuo Yichen stood up when he saw her. When he saw the camera beside her, he could not help but laugh. "What are you doing? We have a camera. Why are you carrying something so heavy?" As he spoke, he went forward and took the camera from her hands. He lowered his head and looked at the photos she had taken of him. Every one of them was very good-looking and handsome. He could not help but smile. Chu Xiong patted the high-end camera beside her and smiled. "I don't trust the photos you took. Why don't I take them myself? I arranged for 6 cameras to take the photos. When I edit them I will show you the results. Don't worry, I won't leak the photos. Then you have to be the first to show me when you edit them." Zhuo Yichen's tears were no longer in his eyes. He smiled and gestured for them to sit on the sofa next to him. When Mother Zhuo saw how Chu Xiong dispelled Zhuo Yichen's sadness with just a few words, she understood why she treated her son so differently. Mother Zhuo pulled Chu Xiong to sit down and took out her phone. "Come, Xiang, let's add each other on WeChat. You don't mind me calling you that, right?" "Course not." Chu Xiong and Mother Zhuo added each other as friends and even exchanged phone numbers. She smiled. "When we get back I will send you a few nice photos first. I will save the rest on a portable hard drive and send them to you by courier. We are in Beijing. There's no need for courier. Let's go shopping and have a meal. You can send them to me then. I can't go to many of Chenchen's events. It's good to keep his photos. I will make a few more albums later so that I can look through them when I have nothing to do." Chu Xiong nodded in agreement. "Okay, I will help you with the album design." Zhuo Yichen said in surprise. "Mom, you don't treat me as an outsider at all." "SK, what outsider? We were chatting for a while just now. When you mentioned Xiang to me, I couldn't be more familiar with you." Zhuo Yichen quickly glanced at Chu Xiong. He was a little embarrassed and urged, "Mom, Dad, you should go back quickly. Yang Yang still has to wake up early to go to school tomorrow. Mother Zhua looked at the time. It was indeed very late. She got up and said, "Okay, we will leave first. You should go back early and rest when you are done here. You must be exhausted. Come home when you have time. I will make soup for you to nourish your body." She waited for Zhua Yichen to agree before asking Chu Xiang. Xiang, what do you want to say? Should we send you back?" Zhua Yichen immediately said, "I will send Sister Chu Xiang back. You can go home directly." "Oh, okay. We will leave now. Xiang, we are changing the date." "Okay. Goodbye, Uncle and Auntie. Goodbye, Brother Yang." Chu Xiang stood on the spot and waved at them with a smile. She and Zhua Yichen could not send them out for fear of being seen by others. They could only ask the staff to lead them out of the venue. Zhua Yichen helped Chu Xiang install the camera and video camera. He said, "I will remove my makeup and change my clothes first. Sister Chu Xiang, wait for me for a while." Chu Xiang nodded. Zhua Yichen smiled when he saw that she did not refuse. He quickly walked into the walk-in closet. Zhua Yichen quickly removed his makeup, washed his hair and dried it. Then he put on a simple black down jacket. Compared to his handsomeness on stage, his refreshing appearance was more in line with his 18-year-old age. Even the collagen on his face was brimming with youthfulness. "Sister Chu Xiang, let's go." Zhua Yichen borrowed a car from the staff. He put on a pair of glasses, a mask, and a down jacket and hat. He looked like a passerby who was afraid of the cold in winter. He was not eye-catching at all. However, even if he covered himself up tightly, he could not get out of the car to help Chu Xiang carry her things when they arrived at her apartment building. He could only apologize. "Sister Chu Xiang, I can't show up. Why don't you carry them twice? They are too heavy." Chu Xiang smiled and said, "How is it heavy? I work out every time, so I have a lot of strength." "Okay, you should go back. Drive carefully. Don't review it tonight. You have been so tired recently. Get a good night's sleep. I will watch it very seriously downstairs. I promise that your concert will be excellent." "No problem. Don't worry." Zhua Yichen smiled and said, "Okay. You should rest early too. Don't edit it so late. We will do it again tomorrow." B. Chu Xiang made an okay sign at him and waved her hand before running into the building. Zhua Yichen looked at her relaxed footsteps and the heavy equipment in her hands. He had to admit that these things might not be heavy for Chu Xianglai. What was Chu Xiang not good at? He shook his head and smiled. He only drove away when the lights in Chu Xiang's apartment were turned on. With such an all-round fan, it was hard for him not to work hard. After the concert, Zhua Yichen continued filming. Sometimes if there were one or two scenes that did not involve him, he would go back to school. He would borrow notes from his classmates, ask the teacher questions that he did not understand, ask the teacher to recommend some professional books and so on. The teacher liked his serious attitude towards learning very much. His impression of him changed greatly. He changed from a popular fresh meat to a humble and motivated youth. Teachers were very willing to guide students who were eager to learn. Therefore, Zhua Yichen would read some professional books or read some case studies when he was filming. He really wanted to learn how to be a director. Previously, he had used up all his time outside of filming to hold the concert. He did not have time to learn professional knowledge at all. Therefore, after the concert ended, he did not take on any other jobs. He focused on filming and crazily learning professional knowledge. He completely immersed himself in studying in this field and was not disturbed by the outside world. Chu Xiang was not idle either. Her 6 cameras captured very good images. Although there were no live rockers or high-level cameras, the quality of the images was superb. She had meticulously edited the entire concert. Every frame was meticulously crafted just right, fully displaying Zhua Yichen's limitless charm from different angles. Some people were really born to shine on the stage. Zhua Yichen was so popular today not only because he worked hard, but also because he was very talented. Whether it was singing, dancing, or acting, he was very good at it. After learning from the teacher, he improved very quickly. First, she posted 3 9-grid Weibo posts. There were a total of 27 photos of Zhuo Yichen. All of them were very high-definition photos. They were a feast for the eyes. They vividly displayed Zhuo Yichen's handsomeness. She also listed the big brand sponsors of each set of clothes and strongly advertised it. Then she edited a 2-minute short film. Like a trailer, it was all edited moments of Zhuo Yichen's extraordinary charm. She recommended everyone to watch the replay of Zhuo Yichen's concert. This replay was a paid project of the video broadcasting platform. Zhuo Yichen's company and the broadcasting platform worked together to make it happen. This was also the reason why Chu Xiang did not leak the film in the first place. Some fans edited their own videos and put them on Bilibili. Some even used professional cameras to film the whole concert and broadcast it. They loved their idols very much. They claimed that this was to share it with more fans. They could also promote their idols and let more people see their idols' charm and like them. However, they did not know that this was a kind of infringement. It was just like how they liked the author so much that they spread the document everywhere. This kind of liking was a violation of the author's rights. It would also cause a loss of profits. Many fans did not buy the products endorsed by their idols. They did not go to the cinema to support their idol's box office. They did not even buy VIP tickets to listen to songs. They only looked for resources to download. These fans who only knew how to say that they liked their idols and quarrel with others everywhere were not helpful to their idols. They would only ruin their idol's popularity. If they encountered any negative news, they would easily lose their idol's fans. It was better to be a pure passerby. Therefore, Chu Xiang edited a very good 2-minute short film. She even posted many photos of Zhuo Yichen on stage at one time. This was to better promote Zhuo Yichen. She wanted people to know that his concert was really hot, very handsome, and very beautiful. If they wanted to watch it, they could go and buy the original version. She attached a link to the streaming platform in her Weibo. Those who wanted to watch it and supported the original version would naturally click on it. She was now a big fan with a high status in Xingchen. Many Xingchen fans followed her. When they saw her post, they all reposted it. Even if they did not follow her in Xingchen, when they saw such a good-looking Zhuo Yichen, they would also repost it. The more people reposted it, the more people would see it. Therefore, even if only 1% of the people watched the original version, the overall number of people who watched it would increase by a lot. Even if only 1% of the people bought the brand's clothes, the overall sales of the brand would increase by a lot. These statistics and profits would eventually become Zhuo Yichen's real achievements in the industry. Only when his achievements in the industry became better and better would the investors value him more and more. His resources and profits would also become better and better, and his development would also become better and better. She did not forget to draw the latest microcomic story. The story was about Zhuo Yichen working hard to film and using all his free time to rehearse for his concert. In the end, he shone brightly on stage and finally presented a superb concert. This story was very emotional. Many people saw the hard work behind Zhuo Yichen's glory. He did not have time to relax at all. Only with this kind of hard work could he achieve success. Xingchen fans felt sorry for Zhuo Yichen. The complaints about him being in seclusion and not appearing in public decreased. His true fans would only love him more because of this. They would hope that he had time to rest and would not complain that he was not open for business. As for those fans who only wanted to see their idol appear in public and did not feel sorry for him, no one cared about them. They could climb the wall and leave as they wished. Chu Xiang's continuous promotion might not have an immediate effect. However, just like her microcomic story, the more people understood Zhuo Yichen's excellence and hard work, the better people's impression of him. It was common for passers-by to become fans. This was the best promotion. After Chu Xiang edited the entire concert video, she immediately sent it to Zhuo Yichen. After watching it, Zhuo Yichen was amazed. He immediately called Chu Xiang and said in disbelief, "Sister Chu Xiang, this is the first time I've seen you edit a video. So good. It's much better than the version that the company showed me. Chu Xiong said regretfully. It's a pity that I can't set up more cameras in the stadium. The overall picture and rocker arms are not there. I can only use the part that your company shot and edit it. There are a few parts where the picture quality and color are a little bad. I tried my best. Zhuo Yichen hurriedly said. This is already good enough. Even I think that my concert is amazing. Many micro-expressions have been edited. As expected of Professor Lin's assistant. This standard is really high. Chu Xiong smiled and said, You're very good at flattering people now. If you know how to do it, then do more. This fan is very happy to hear it. I'm telling the truth. I'm very honest. Zhuo Yichen laughed out loud. The more he watched the video, the more he liked it. He asked with a smile, Can I ask the company to buy this? This version is so much better. I want everyone to see this version. Why buy it? This is for you. It's your first concert, so you should keep it as a souvenir. You'll have dozens and hundreds of concerts in the future. I'll edit it for you every time. Zhuo Yichen listened to her sweet voice over the phone. His eyes softened and he smiled. This was a promise, right? In the future, she would be there for every concert he had. She would always be there. After Zhuo Yichen communicated with the company, they changed the playback of the entire broadcast platform to Chu Xiong's version. The audience who had already bought it did not need to buy it anymore. They could watch it directly. The new audience could just buy it and watch it as usual. It did not affect anything. Just changed to a better effect. Many stars immediately noticed this and excitedly ran around to spread the news. They had previously thought that Chu Xiong's 2-minute short video was very good. They had been leaving comments on her Weibo, begging her to play more of it. However, Chu Xiong rejected them directly and even told everyone to pay attention to copyright. They thought that they would not be able to see such a good video. Who knew that the official website would change the version? It was simply amazing. The number of views on the platform increased again. This time, Chu Xiong's continuous promotion became a trending topic. Some marketing accounts analyzed her every move and praised her for knowing how to promote, how to attract traffic, and how to drive fans. There were also professional haters who suspected that her account was operated by a team. They were specially created to increase Zhuo Yichen's popularity. However, Chu Xiong had become famous in one battle. She could be considered someone with a background and identity. Not many people believed that a team was involved. In short, everyone knew about Zhuo Yichen's concert. Regardless of whether they were interested or not, everyone knew that Zhuo Yichen held a concert. It was very successful and exciting. In this year, SJ Boy held a total of 4 solo concerts. As they were a team, it was inevitable that people would compare them. Du Wei, one of the 3 teammates, also tried his best to defame Zhuo Yichen when he was popular. He said that his idol's singing and dancing were the best. His idol's concert was better and so on. However, people had eyes and knew how to see. Zhuo Yichen's concert was a sure win in terms of singing and dancing, charisma, sponsorship, and Chu Xiong's editing of the video. Even the number of views on the platform and sponsorship sales was a beautiful win. Although the 4 of them had a good relationship and never compared these things in the eyes of the outside world, this was the first time that they realized the difference between Zhuo Yichen and his teammates. In the past, there were people who mocked him because of his status as the captain and the center position. He would take advantage of it. However, after this, other than his teammate Du Wei, everyone felt that he would develop better in the team and have a higher commercial value. After the popularity died down, Xingchen finally turned their attention to Chu Xiong. Suddenly, someone realized that the new video on the platform was the same as Chu Xiong's 2-minute clip. All the shots in the movie overlapped. What did this mean? Could it be that Chu Xiong was really recruited into Zhuo Yichen's team? Or was the short clip given to Chu Xiong by the team? If the team paid for Chu Xiong to post these things on her Weibo account, it would make people uncomfortable. This was because they liked this Weibo account because Chu Xiong was the sister of the Wild Station. They liked her from the bottom of their hearts. If the team controlled this Weibo account, How was it different from an official account? This gave people the feeling that Zhuo Yichen was very utilitarian. Just as everyone had this suspicion, a student from the film academy revealed that Chu Xiong was a top student in the editing department. Even Professor Lin admired her. The professional haters and the 3 teammates Du Wei swarmed over when they saw this. It was as if they had seen the evidence and knew the truth. They directly said that Chu Xiong was in the editing department. If she wanted to find a job in the future, she would definitely be working with Zhuo Yichen's company. What fans? What promotion? It was simply an exchange of interests. The haters' words were very unpleasant. They were unreasonable, did not look at the facts, and took things out of context. Once they came up with a brainwashing package, they would post it continuously. They were very much like brain-damaged patients. However, a portion of Xing Chen's fans who did not understand the situation and were not very intelligent believed them. They even went to Chu Xiong's Weibo to question her. The big fans called for everyone to control the comments. They were so angry that Chu Xiong had done so much for Zhuo Yichen. They were instigated to fight among themselves with just a few words. They questioned Chu Xiong and suspected Zhuo Yichen without any evidence. It was simply unreasonable. However, there was no other way. The so-called stench of the fandom was probably caused by this group of brainless people who loved to fight. Some of the fans were even just passers-by who had done nothing for their idols. At this time, they just had to appear and quarrel endlessly. There were many such people. Even Xing Chen's image was tarnished. Many of Xing Chen's big fans were furious. Chu Xiong participated in a group discussion with Professor Lin in school. Her phone was turned off the whole time. She only found out about this matter after the meeting. It was not surprising that her identity was exposed. After all, her photos had been leaked. Everyone who had seen her in school knew that she was the sister Jean. Now that her Weibo account was becoming more and more popular, she was highly regarded by Professor Lin in school. Naturally, there were people who liked to gossip and leaked her identity. She saw that Zhuo Yichen had sent her a lot of messages. Before she could read them, Zhuo Yichen called her. "Sister Chu Xiong, are you okay? I've already asked the company to release a statement." Zhuo Yichen sounded a little anxious. Chu Xiong laughed and said, "I'm fine. Isn't it just a bunch of ignorant people who are randomly scolding me? What can they do to me? I've never cared about such things." She opened Zhuo Yichen's company's official Weibo account and saw that the official statement said that the film was edited by Chu Xiong and sent to the company's email. The company thought it was good and used this version. Chu Xiong rejected the company's offer. It was completely free of charge. They were very grateful to Chu Xiong. They also apologized for the trouble they caused Chu Xiong. At the end of the film, they would add the words, "The film is from Chu Xiong." This statement was very clear. She just did not know if those people would believe it. However, it was up to them whether they believed it or not. They doubted their idol's character so easily. They were worse than her childhood fans. They would only believe it when they saw the evidence. Zhuo Yichen was still a little worried. "Why did you turn off your phone for no reason? Thought you were really fine." "Course it's true. I just went to a meeting with the teacher. The meeting just ended. You think too highly of me. You don't care about those haters on the internet, right? I'm not afraid. I don't care if I have nothing to do. Don't look down on me. I'm a celebrity. I'm used to it. However, you're a behind-the-scenes worker. You shouldn't be scolded like that." Chu Xiong laughed. "You think too much. I'm the #1 god of war in Constellation. This is nothing." Zhuo Yichen could tell from her laughter that she did not care at all. He was relieved. He smiled and said, "To make it up to you, I've decided to change all the clothes that the sponsor wanted to give me into women's clothing for you. Send me the measurements later. I'll ask someone to send it to you. Don't worry about the film. Everything will be fine." Chu Xiong accepted it very calmly. She knew that this would make Zhuo Yichen happy. Zhuo Yichen had taken her film for free. He had also caused her to appear on the hot search list time and time again. It was hard for her not to care. Now he could finally give her a gift. He was really happy. He counted his endorsements. There were a total of 18 endorsements. There were still quite a lot of gifts that he could give Chu Xiong in the future. Although fans and idols did not ask for anything in return, he still hoped to give something in return. He called Lai Dong and asked the sponsor for a women's clothing brochure. He personally picked out a style for Chu Xiong. Chu Xiong looked at the situation on the internet. She sighed. Her popularity was quite high now. This kind of news had spread again. She felt like she would fall down every time she appeared on the hot search list. However, she did not care about this. She directly posted on Weibo. V. This is Ichen's first solo concert. As a true fan, I have to record the whole process with my heart. There were 6 cameras at the venue. I edited the film and sent it to Ichen as a congratulatory gift. I'm honored that Ichen's company took a liking to my film and showed it to everyone. Actually, if you take a good shot of Ichen's moment and edit it into a good music video or video, you can send it to Ichen's company email. Who knows, they might use it next time. You can even earn a copyright fee. It's everyone's responsibility to support the original. Chu Xiong attached the company's email address and a link to the concert at the end of her Weibo post. Chu Xiong's Weibo post and the company's statement were put together. The truth was obvious. Chu Xiong had always been a true fan of Zhuo Yichen. She actually used 6 cameras at the venue and edited such a good film. She did not even ask for money. Instead, she gave it to Zhuo Yichen for free as a congratulatory gift. This was very in line with Chu Xiong's style. Also, Chu Xiong's suggestion was very tempting. Many Xingchen also knew how to edit videos. Some of them were very good. If they sent it to the company's email, Xingchen would be satisfied even if some of the clips could be used. The sentence, "It's everyone's responsibility to support the original," once again conveyed the concept of copyright. At least, it made fans who had the ability to buy but did not pay attention to copyright decide to support the original. It was reasonable for the original owner to clarify. No matter how much the anti-fans jumped around, this matter was resolved. However, Chu Xiong's true identity was more interesting. She was a talented editing student. How capable must she be to be able to catch the eye of the famous editing master, Professor Lin? Moreover, Chu Xiong's edited version of the concert was much better than the previous version. Everyone could directly see the magical ability of an editor. They admired Chu Xiong even more. Such an outstanding person. Is she really not Mary Sue Bensu? That you're tuning in to the Whispers of Romance YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.